Hey guys, welcome to Green Bean Fiction. So in today's video we are gonna see, what if Deku was bodyguard and had Princess Harem? Part 1. This story is Our Bodyguards, the government's greatest assassin by Red Blader 127. Before starting, make sure to hit that like button, as your one like motivates me to bring more stories, and subscribe the channel if you are new so you won't miss our latest videos. No one's paw. It was already nighttime in Japan. People were already entering their homes after a long day of work. Some were eating dinner, and some were already snoozing in bed. Some heroes though are wandering the city patrolling, to protect Japan from any villain who would dare disturb the peaceful night of the innocent civilians. The night was peaceful and people were sleeping peacefully in their homes. But one house, no mansion, had people who were all alive and cheerful this late in the evening. You could hear their laughter and enjoyment from the outside, but not enough to disturb anyone sleeping. It's probably because they're having a party celebrating the return of some old friends from France. You could hear girls talking from the inside of the mansion and having fun. The mansion is a giant white house with 5 watchtowers, with the 5th one being the center one and a black roof. The mansion is located inside a private ground that had walls and gates surrounding the large plot of land surrounding the mansion and keeping strangers outside the street from entering. Further within the gates is a forest that surrounds the entire mansion. There's a garden located on the outskirts of the mansion. It has several characteristics, such as that it is full of grass. Besides, there are also several paths where you can walk. On the sides you can see small fields full of flowers. You can also see some large trees and other small trees, as well as bushes. There are also places to rest around the garden. Once you enter the doors of the mansion, it's noted that the mansion retains great elegance. There are 2 pillars with a pair of lamps each. In addition to having high-class designs, there are lights near each door, as well as vases with flowers. On the road there are 2 routes to the sides, right and left, and stairs to go up to the next floor. The mansion had 7 master bedrooms, 19 bedrooms, 1 children's bedroom. The others are guest rooms or rooms for the maids and servants. It also had a dining area where the main people and the guests of the mansion gather to eat at. There's a large brown table in the middle with brown chairs with white seats. The walls of the room are gray with a ceiling where 2 chandeliers are hanging under the table. The room also had 3 large windows with opened light gray curtains on it. It also had 2 pillars with 2 black vases on. And the room also had a fireplace. The maids in the dining area are currently cleaning up the food of those who just ate from it. There's many more rooms in this mansion, but the one where the happy chatter could be heard from was in the living room. The mansion's living room is larger than normal living rooms. A giant chandelier was hanging over the room. The rooms had a royal design around the entire living room, with white covering the entire room along with other royal designs. The room also had a large window with a beautiful view of the outside. A lot of couches were present on the entire room for people to sit with, each having a table and lamp. If you want to know the reason why there are so many couches, chairs and rooms, well, more than one family is living in this mansion. And the families living here aren't an ordinary feat. It's good to see you again, Aila, it really is. Aila. Same could be said to you, Akane. But I could say more for Stella though. Stella, so you really are studying here? Stella. Of course, I want to study and be a hero with you guys. Ah, that's sweet of you, Stella. I thought you'd be going here because you want to meet new boys. Stella. Pouts Auntie. Laughter and talking could be heard in the living room as many girls, both adults and teenagers, are currently occupying the couches. That's because they're currently celebrating the return of old friends from France. Normally they don't gather around like this because they're mostly busy with school, but they were able to squeeze it through a day off. But they're celebrating the arrival of the Vermilion family, a close family to the other 6 families in this mansion. The Vermilion family is one of the known families around the world. And the other 6 families in that room, well, they're the same as the other families. The Yaoyorozu family, the Vermilion family, the Kamisato family, the Sangonomiya family, the Peg family and the Kageyama family. These 7 families either have both international or worldwide influences to make them well known. They're also very rich than most people. But maybe you ask, why are they living in the same mansion if they're rich enough to buy their own? Well, this mansion is specially designed for the welfare of their teenage daughters. Since they're always busy with their jobs, they tend to leave their girls alone most of the time. So for them not to be alone, they constructed this mansion so they can live and stay here most of the time. Eventually the girls decided to call this place their home and all of them decided to live in here. Speaking of teenage girls, this home is especially made for their teenage girls who are now reaching their third year junior high. And also one of the reasons why the Vermilion family arrived here, is because they're taking their eldest daughter to study here to be a hero. Aila, are you excited for school, sweetie? Stella. Sighs, I'm just hoping there will be less perverts in this place. France had a lot of them. Aila. Chuckles and pats her head, I'm sure it will, sweetie. Those two are Aila and her eldest daughter, Stella from the Vermilion family. Aila has long white hair with a red streak on the right side of her hair. Her hair reaches down to her waist with twin tails that are held up. Her eyes are a fiery red color. Her quirk is called Pale Flame. She can generate and manipulate white fire and use it for offensive and defensive purposes. She was France's former number 2 hero, but she retired to take care of her responsibilities as Queen of the Vermilion Empire and to take care of her daughters. Her daughter, on the other hand, Stella, is a beautiful young woman of average height with a beautiful face, white skin, and ruby eyes. She has long crimson hair tied into twin tails using yellow ribbons. She has a bewitching body, with both large breasts and a voluptuous figure she gained from her mother. Her quirk is called Dragon Empress. Stella's quirk, mainly comprising of the ability to summon and control flames. These flames carry some of the common properties of natural fire like radiant heat and light, but they don't immediately burn anything it touches. Stella also has the ability to summon a golden broadsword with red markings on the hilt that she calls Levitain, that can harness her quirk's flames. The drawback is that the more she uses it, the more it burns her metabolism, causing her to eat more than normal. But using it too intensely causes her to overheat and have fevers. For now there aren't any. But I'm sure they won't be a bother much. Stella. Easy for you to say, Ko-chan. I'm not the school's student council president. Kokusei. Sighs, it's not about my rank, Stella-chan, I can just deal with them easier. Chuckles, she developed that from tolerating his father's teasing. And besides, she worked hard to achieve that rank. And I'm sure perverts won't be that much of a bother to you, just like Kokusei said. Stella. Sighs, I guess, Auntie Shia. Those two were Shia and Kokusei Kageyama from the Kageyama family. Shia has half purple and half white hair tied into waist-length twin tails, topped by small Odango-style buns resembling cat ears. She had blue crystal eyes, fair skin and voluptuous breast. Her quirk is called Energy, whereas allows her to convert her stamina or electricity to manipulate and shape energy for both offensive and defensive purposes. The drawback is that converting too much causes her head to ache and in some cases lead her to faint. She's one of the members of Japanese's Sangsing and the manager of both livelihood and real estate. Her daughter, Kokusei, has fair skin and dark amethyst eyes, with oval cat-like pupils featuring diamond-shaped markings on the iris. Her light purple hair tied into waist-length twin tails, topped by small Odango-style buns resembling cat ears just like her mother's. There is also a small braid running along the side of her bangs. Kokusei's quirk is called Thunder Flash, which grants her the ability to generate and utilize electricity or lightning, as a form of offense and defense from her body. She's able to electricity from her body, and manipulate it, even shaping her attacks as she wishes. Her quirk possesses both high speed and strong attack power that make her ruthless and efficient in battle. She mostly applies her quirk to her swordsmanship by infusing it with a sword or creating her own out of lightning. Using her quirk can cause her to drain her stamina since it converts her energy to electricity. But overexertion can cause her to suffer nerve damage and burns varying on the degree of intensity she used her quirk. She assists her mom in the duties of the Sangsing and is also a member of it. Speaking of France, how was school back at France? Stella. Well, it was great and I love it. It was easier because of you, Yaomomo. Thanks for tutoring me, Momo. Smiles, it's no problem, Stella-chan. Pats Momo's head, that's my girl. I just wish you'd go to the school I teach at. Maybe you could be my teacher's pet. Momo. But Mom. Akane. Chuckles and pats her head, I know. That was Akane Yaoyorozu and her daughter, Momo Yaoyorozu. Akane is a beautiful woman of average height and has a slim build. She has fair skin, long black hair that spills over her shoulders and down to her waist, and gray eyes. Her quirk is called Intelligence, which grants her the ability to enhance her knowledge temporarily for a short span of time when she concentrates and thinks. The drawback of this quirk is that she'll have headaches when she uses it too much. She's the headmaster of a prestigious junior high school in Japan called Heavendoor Junior High. And her daughter, Momo, is a tall teenage girl with a rather mature physique. Her quirk's need for fat cells requires her to keep a fuller figure than her classmates. She has long black hair that is normally tied into a spiky ponytail with a large strand hanging on the right side of her face. Her eyes are thin and sharp, dark in color and paired with short eyebrows set in a determined expression. Speaking of her quirk, it's called Creation allows her to create any non-living object or material as long as she knows the molecular structure of whatever she is making. This works by her transforming her lipids and fat cells into her creations, meaning that calories essentially act as production material. Momo is capable of creating anything she thinks of as long as she has the structure and design in mind. It has shown to take longer to create objects of bigger size. But she is required to eat more in order to replenish strength for her quirk. Overusing it with low amounts of lipids would cause her to weaken. Stella. I actually heard that your school has sword training. Momo. Nods. Aya-chan and Ko-chan are also a part of it. And not just sword training, there's more types of trainings depending on the person along with other activities. Ayaka. Maybe the both of us can give you a tour of the school when you enroll. Stella. Smiles. Thank you, Aya-chan. Ayaka. Smiles. It's not a problem, Yaomomo. That was Ayaka from the Kamisato family. She is a young woman of slightly below average height. She usually keeps her long, pale white-blue hair tied in a high ponytail by a black armored headdress accented with gold. Her hair is styled in a Harem cut, with evenly chopped locks framing her face tied off with white accessories bordered with gold, fastened with bright pink cords tied in cloverleaf knots, but for now, her hair is just flowing behind her back. Her light blue-gray eyes are accompanied by thick lashes and a mole underneath her left eye. Ayaka's quirk is called Frost Flake Princess, which gives her the ability to summon and manipulate ice. Her ice has the ability to slow down her opponents when she hits them, with it giving her the advantage in most cases. She can cloak herself in frozen fog to move faster, make her walk on water, and be harder to hit for her opponents. She can also infuse her powers to her swordsmanship and fighting style. Overusing her quirk causes her temperature to drop and needs to be warmed up afterwards. That's why she mostly drinks tea to warm herself up. She's one of the leaders of the Yashara Commission along with her older brother and father. What are you reading, Komi-chan? Kokomi. Just something about the past wars before quirks existed, Barbara-chan. Barbara. Don't you read something else? That kinda looks boring, Kokomi. I read other books, but I prefer these types of books. Don't judge what she reads, Barbara. Everyone has their own favorite type of book to read. Barbara. Oh, sorry, Komi-chan. Kokomi. Smiles. It's all fine, Barbara-chan. That was Kokomi from the Sangonomiya family. Kokomi is a young woman with long pale salmon pink hair styled in a high ponytail divided in two at the top. Her hair is accessorized with an indigo ornament that resembles fins, each side curving around the top of her ponytail. Kokomi's quirk is called Watatsumi's Blessing, which mainly gives her the ability to manipulate and create water from the power of the water deity, Watatsumi. She can use that water in a variety of ways, whether for offensive or defensive purposes. It gives her the ability to breathe underwater and swim freely in it. She can also float on land in most cases as if she was underwater and even walk on water. Her quirk can be used to heal herself or her allies around her. She can utilize the power of her quirk to enhance her own physical capabilities and increase the power of her attacks. Overusage can cause her mental strain and exhaust her mentally, which may cause her to faint. She is currently the divine priestess of Watatsumi Island, but her father is the company leader to lighten her load due to her age. The other two are part of the Peg-Gunhilder family. Barbara Peg and Frederica Gunhilder Peg. Frederica has long ash blonde hair with curly ends. She has fair skin accompanied by blue eyes and has average height. Her quirk is called Hydro Rejuvenation, which allows her the ability to draw water from any source and imbue it with healing properties to heal her allies within seconds. The drawback is that it drains her own energy whenever she imbues it with healing properties, and that the healing also costs the energy of her allies. Her healing is also limited and can't regrow lost body parts. She was formerly married to Magnus Gunhilder, who unfortunately passed away 4 to 5 years before Barbara was born. She remarried and bore Barbara 4 to 5 years after. Her eldest daughter, Jean, who she bore with Magnus, retained his last name as Barbara has her new one. She's currently a nurse at the hospital her husband owns. Barbara, on the other hand, has a small build with ash blonde hair tied in pigtails and blue eyes. Her quirk is called Mermaid's Grace, which is slightly similar to Kokomi's quirk. Barbara has the ability to create and freely manipulate water. But she can't walk on water or swim underwater, and Barbara needs to hum a beat or sing to activate her quirk. She can manipulate water weather for both offensive and defensive capabilities. Her healing is power stronger than Kokomi's, making her rely on support more than physical combat. Overusage of her quirk can cause her to dehydrate or feel thirsty, making her have a hard time humming to activate her quirk. Thus she needs to replenish herself with water. She acts as a deaconess in the special hospital her father owns. Stella. How long before school starts though? Kokusei. Within a month or so. Ayaka. So we still have time to spend with each other before classes begin. Shia. Yeah, you girls still have time to help Stella get accustomed to Japan before school starts. Stella. But do you and Dad really have to leave Mom? Aila. Sighs. I am sorry sweetie, but me and your father have some business to take care of with the Empire. And also, you know, your father's the #1 hero of France. He needs to stay in France. We only agreed to stay with you guys for a while until classes starts. Barbara. I just wish we had more moments like this. Frederica. I wish we did too. But all of us are very busy with our jobs. Your father, sister and I, along with your other uncles and aunties, are very busy. Stella. I'll miss you though. Aila. Smiles sadly and pats her head. I will too sweetie. But me and your father will try to spend as much time as we have here before we go back. And also we'll call you every day just to check up on you, so you don't have to worry about not seeing us. I love you no matter what. Aila pulls Stella into a hug and she instantly returns it. The other moms looked at their daughters and also pulled them into a hug, which they also return. Ayaka and Kokomi just watched them with a sad smile on their faces. It was unfortunate that both their mothers died when they were young due to illnesses. Now the two of them are taking care of their mother's duties, with Ayaka as one of the leaders of the Yashara Commission and Kokomi as the Divine Priestess. The only thing they have left are their fathers. Speaking of Stella. Speaking of Dad, where is he? The girls separate from their mothers and had also a skeptical look. Ayaka. Indeed, where is my father? Aila. Sighs. Your fathers are having a guys' night out with some old friends. Kokusei. Aren't they too old to do that? Shia. Any boy of any age can have a guys' night, Kokusei. I mean, we're having a girls' night out right now. Frederica. Your fathers just need some time to reunite with some old friends. And talk to them about something important. Momo. But how long till they come back? Akane. Realistically they'll be back in a few hours. Barbara. What do guys even do during a guys' night? Kokomi. I heard most of them just do whatever they want to. Shia. It's like that, but your fathers are just going out for a drink at your father's private bar. Kokusei. Sighs exasperatedly. Doesn't he have better things to do? Shia. Chuckles and pats her head. It's been a while since they've had fun like this, Kokusei. Your father just needs some time to rest and relax with some of his old friends. And there's also another reason why they need to meet up. Stella. Who are these friends they'll be meeting up? Aila. Oh, they're just some old friends when your fathers and us went to UA. You might know them though. I hope they suggest someone who can actually defend themselves and others around them. Stella. Really? Momo. How? Akane. Let's just say, they're also very known in Japan. Sighs. I just hope they find a decent one this time. The girls continue to talk and have fun as the wives are hoping their husbands can convince their old friends to suggest a proper someone for their daughters. Scene change. The scene then shifts to somewhere in Japan. Under a large building, entering through a secret door and walking down stairs reveals a secret room. The room had brown tiles on the floor. In the middle of the room has two long red couches, two red seats, a table and a chandelier hanging on top of it. The room also has a mini stage theater with a piano. The room also has a bar area with 6 seats. And the room is not empty as the couches or chairs are occupied. A bartender is present in the bar area and there's 2 musicians currently playing. I still can't believe that this place is still clean after all these years. Well, I always go here to relieve some stress or whenever I get tired and just want to sit back and take a drink. That's Sakai. Even back then, the person the individual is referring to Sakai Kageyama, the husband of Shia Kageyama and the father of Kokusei Kageyama. He has a toned build, average height, purple hair and yellow eyes. His quirk is called Bio-Battery, which grants him the ability to absorb electricity from nearby resources to use it for both offensive or defensive purposes. He can also transfer it to appliances or people who need it for their quirks. The drawback is that he can only absorb from close by electric resources. He also has a limit to holding electricity. If he overcharges himself, his body suffers continuous damage. He's a member of Japan's Sangsing and the owner-operator of Japan's electric power plant and waterworks. Sakai. Like you're the one to talk, say. What are you talking about? Sakai. Like you don't have a secret cellar in the mansion that not even your wife knows about. Say. Shish. Sighs fine. Just don't tell her. I'll tell her soon but not now. Sakai. Shrugs no promises. That person was Sei Yaoyorozu, the husband of Akane Yaoyorozu and father of Momo Yaoyorozu. He's a tall male with pale skin, black hair and yellow eyes. His quirk is called Tech Development, which grants him the ability to generate advanced tech and other stuff he could think of. He could make something as complex as a laser gun to something as simple as a desert eagle. The drawback is that there is limits to him creating objects and it saps his energy whenever he uses it. He was a former hero that was of Japan's top 10 and now currently the CEO of Yaoyorozu Holdings. Give him a break, Sakai. I mean, nearly all of us need to drink and relax sometimes. Sakai. Chuckles, I was kidding, I'd never tell her without getting my ass wiped. But you should be the one who needs to take breaks, Mr. Royal. Balancing both his duties and being the #1 hero must be tiring for you. Raiji. It is tiring, but I could manage. But I do enjoy a break or time when I just sit back and relax. That was Raiji Vermilion, husband of Aila Vermilion and father of Stella Vermilion. He stands at 6 feet tall, has flaming red hair, sparkling blue eyes and has a slender frame that features an array of well-toned muscles. His quirk is called Dragon Blade, which grants him the ability to summon a sword he bonded when he was child. The sword grants him many superhuman capabilities. The drawback is that his sword drains his blood the more power he uses. He's France's #1 hero and the king of the Vermilion Empire. Say. Then why don't you retire like me or your wife or even Tatsuya? Raiji. Sighs, because unlike him, I don't have an injury that forced him to retire. Sakai. Yeah, we're not like Mr. Han Solo over here. All of a sudden, a katana was directly pointed under his neck by Tatsuya Kamisato, the father of both Ayato and Ayaka Kamisato. He's a man of average height with pale skin, spiky long white hair accompanied by white eyes and a muscular build. His quirk is called Frost Palms, grants him to generate and manipulate ice from the palms of his hands, which he can infuse on his blade. The drawback is that he's not immune to his own ice. The more he uses it, the more it lowers his body temperature. He was Japan's #3 hero, but he unfortunately had to retire due to his severed right arm, which now hinders his abilities. He's the head of the Kamisato clan, a leader of the Yashura Commission, and now currently works as a swordsman teacher. Tatsuya. I may have one hand, but that one hand is enough to sever yours as well. Sakai. Waves his hands. Chill bro, chill. I was kidding. Tatsuya. Sighs and sheathes his blade. Now I can see why your daughter is exasperated from your teasing. Sakai. What, Raiji? He's got a point there, bud. You kinda are a tease every day and everywhere you go. Say. Alright, enough of the fighting. Let's just get our drinks. Sakai. Sighs fine. Hey, Ricky, we'll have 1 Cosmopolitan, 1 Spritz, 2 Negroni, Rio. I'll just have the Pim's Cup. Ryo Sangonomiya is the father of Kokomi Sangonomiya. He's a man of average height with deep blue hair along with blue eyes. His quirk is called Water Dragon, which grants him the ability of a water dragon, such as lungs allowing him to spew water, having the ability to breathe underwater, and allows him to produce water from his body for both offense and defense. The drawback is that it consumes his stamina and water in his body and causing him to dehydrate. And he needs to consume any type of liquid except his own to replenish himself. He's also weaker in dry climates. He's the leader of Sangonomiya clan and the company leader of Watatsumi Island. Sakai. How about you, Ryota? Ryota. I'll have the mimosa. Ryota Peg is the second husband of Frederica Peg, the adoptive father of Jean Gunhilder and the biological father of Barbara Peg. He's a man of average height with black hair that has with cyan tips and cyan eyes. His quirk is called Healing Melody, which allows him to increase his target's healing factor temporarily by humming a melody while keeping physical contact. The longer the melody, the more efficient and faster the healing effect is. But the longer he hums, the more it drains his and his target's energy. He also can't grow missing body parts. He's the CEO of a known hospital at Japan called Divine Medical Center. Sakai. Alright then. Ricky. 1 Cosmopolitan, 1 Spritz, 2 Negroni, 1 Pim's Cup and 1 Mimosa. Ricky. Alright, sir. Ricky is a tall male with black cropped short hair and black eyes. He's the bartender of Sakai's secret bar. Say. So what do you guys want to talk about while our drinks are being made? Sakai. So how's life back at France, Mr. Royal? Raiji. It's fine, I guess. Life's great. Stella's finally going to her dream school. Both me and Aila are managing perfectly with our duties as kings and queens of the Vermilion Empire. But being a hero is getting harder than before. Tatsuya. Really? Raiji. No joke, it's getting harder every day. Villains are getting more powerful lately to the point that even the top 10 heroes back at France are having a harder time to fight against them. Ryota. Well, it has been theorized by scientists that quirks will continue to grow as time passes. So it's easily noticeable through that. Say. I even heard that villains around the world are getting more powerful and harder for heroes to defeat. They even started making organizations and groups. Sakai. It might be because of the illegal drugs being traded that boosts their quirks. Raiji. Though what terrifies me the most is the fact that most of the villains are starting to target those with big names. Meaning that they might start targeting us and our families. Tatsuya. TCH. He's right. I know Ayato can defend himself now, but I'm more afraid for Ayaka. She's still too young and still lacks experience and training. Ryota. I know what you mean. Jean can now handle herself, but Barbara still lacks training to defend herself against villains. Say. All our daughters do. If they were from an ordinary family, we wouldn't have to worry much, but since our family names are known, villains might use them to their advantage. Tatsuya. Size, that's what I fear the most. Ryo. We really need to talk to them about what us and our wives agreed. Say. Where are they anyway? Raiji. They said they'll take a while to get here since they're just finishing work. But they should be here soon. All of a sudden they hear knocking at the door, making them all look at it. The door was a red blast door and it had a security pad on both the inside and out. Sakai walked towards the door and placed his ear on it to hear who was outside the door. Sakai. What's the password? They stayed seated waiting for the response while some of them are readying their quirks just in case it was villains. But they got their reply in a form of a deep muffled voice. 285,827,619,358. And is the password really necessary, Sakai? Size, he's always been like that ever since. After recognizing the two voices, Sakai types the password to the security pad and opens the door to reveal 2 figures. Sakai. Glad you both can make it, number 1 and number 2. The first figure is a tall, sturdily built man with a very muscular physique. He has short crimson hair which he wears spiked up around his head and sharp turquoise eyes. His beard and mustache appear to be made of fire, but when he voluntarily turns off the flames on his face, a small amount stubble shows around his jaw. He also has a large, jagged scar reaching from his hairline all the way down to his chin. He's currently wearing a white polo shirt with blue pants. The second figure was a very skinny man with sharp, angular features and long limbs, his neck long and his eyebrows absent. He also has short blonde hair, swept backwards, with two distinct tufts that stick up above his head, leaning slightly to each side. He's currently wearing a white shirt that's being covered by a black blazer and light blue pants. These individuals are none other than Enji Todoroki and Toshinori Yagi, or better known as Endeavor, or Japan's number 2 hero, and All Might, or Japan's number 1 hero, are also dubbed as the symbol of peace. Enji. Why is 285,827,619,358 your password? Sakai. Enji. Okay, Toshi. It's good to see you guys again. Sakai. Same here, come on in. The two of them come on in and the others look at the two with smiles on their faces. Meanwhile, Enji and Raiji had a stare off. Raiji. Endeavor. Enji. Reinhard. All of a sudden Raiji started walking towards him as the musicians stopped playing music due to the intense staring. Enji. Ho, you're approaching me then. Enji started walking towards him as the others started sweating nervously at the intimidating aura they were both emitting. Until the two of them finally stop and look at each other a few feet away. The others were about to intervene when suddenly the both of them grinned. Raiji. Enji, you son of a bitch. The two of them walked closer and united their hands in a manshake. Enji. Chuckles, seems like you're still as strong as back in the day, huh? Raiji. Grins, I could say the same about you. Enji. Grins, how about we test that in a spar soon? Raiji. Smirks, now we're talking. Say, boys, we'll go sparring tomorrow. Our wives will kill us if we do it tonight. Raiji. Fair enough. Have a seat, you two. The two of them follow Raiji and Sei and took a seat in one of the couches. Sakai. Any drinks you'd like, boys? Enji. Got any Tom Collins? Sakai. Yup. Enji. I'll take it. Sakai. And how about you, Johnny Bravo? Toshi. Seriously, Tatsuya. Size, you'll get used to it. Toshi. I'll just have a spritz. Sakai. Gotcha. Ricky. We'll also have another spritz and one Tom Collins. Ricky. On it, sir. Say. So speaking of wife, how's married life, Enji? Enji. Smiles the best. Raiji. So who was the lucky lady who tamed someone like? Enji. Rei. Sakai. Her. I would have expect you to choose someone else though. Enji. Nah, I love her just the way she is. And I have 4 beautiful children with her. Sakai. Whew, looks like someone was busy. Enji. Shut it, Tatsuya. So I'm guessing your son is now a pro hero. I remember Ayato telling me about someone named Tuya Todoroki that's also a part of UA's Big 5. Enji. Yep, he's my eldest son. He wants to be a pro hero like me. So I trained him up. Tatsuya. Chuckles, like father like son, I guess. Enji. Chuckles, yeah. My second eldest, Fuyumi, is still in college and wants to be a teacher. Nasuo. My third son is still studying in school and is still thinking a job different than heroics. Ryota. So my guess is that those two are not much into going with the hero life like you. Enji. Yep, but regardless, I'm still supporting them in whatever dream they want. Sakai. Wow, just how did Rei tame someone like you? Ryo. Yeah, he's acting like a really different person than before. Toshi. Well, legitimately speaking, Tatsuya was like that before he met KO. Sakai. Fair point, I guess. Enji. And my youngest, Shoto, is also studying to be a hero like me and her eldest brother. Me and Rei are helping him master his quirks. Both him and Tuya wants to surpass me and Toshi. Raiji. So your family has 2 kids who want to be heroes. That's a pretty nice life you got there. You really changed a lot, huh, Enji? Enji. I could say the same about all of you. All of us changed a lot. Toshi. I just wish Magnus could also be here. Ryota. Sighs, yeah, it's not the same without him. Everyone remained silent, remembering Magnus Gunhilder, one of their old friends who unfortunately died years ago. He was the wife of Frederica, who then gave her to Ryota to take care of. They wished that he could still be with them. Say. Alright, that's enough. We don't want to make this a soap opera. How about you, Toshi? You're not interested in getting married or anything. Toshi. Shrugs, I'll pass. Raiji. Really? Sakai. A lot of girls are literally head over heels for you. You can literally marry any one of them. Toshi. I'm just not the type to go into romantic relationships. Enji. And besides, most of those girls are just in for his status as the #1 hero. And also his muscular body. Sakai. Oh yeah, they don't know that Johnny Bravo is actually a thin toothpick. Tatsuya. By the way, how's your injury, Toshi? Enji. It's actually pretty bad for him. Ryota. How bad? Toshi. I can only maintain my form for more than 3 hours. That fight with AFO really weakened me. Tatsuya. Me and Enji did. That was one of the toughest battles I ever had. In the past, Tatsuya, Enji and Toshi fought against a very powerful villain named AFO, who was All Might's arch-nemesis and dubbed the symbol of evil. They managed to defeat him, but at a cost. Tatsuya lost his right arm. Enji's face was scarred along with some other injuries that are still healing to this day, and half of Toshi's respiratory system was ruptured. Toshi. And I can't date anyone because of the secret of OFA. No one except us in this room and your wives know about it, along some of my friends. Raiji. I guess he makes a fair point. All Might's quirk is actually called One for All. It's a quirk that was created to defeat All for One a long time ago by his own brother. The quirk can be transferred by the user to a successor who they deem as worthy to wield its power. Toshinori is the 8th user because it was transferred to him from Nana Shimura. Toshinori's quirk allowed him to stockpile an enormous amount of raw power, allowing him to significantly enhance all of his physical abilities to a superhuman level. This resulted in unbelievable levels of strength, speed, agility, and durability. Speaking of OFA, have you found a successor to wield it? Enji. He did, but, Toshi. The one I chose rejected the offer. Everyone. Raiji. They rejected it. Why? Enji. The one he chose is not actually a hero but has a different occupation. They rejected it because he wants to use his own power and because of their occupation as well. Toshi. They said that someone else should be the one to wield OFA. I respected their decision, so I'm still looking for a successor. Tatsuya. Still though, Ryo. Who would reject gaining power like that? Ryota. But they'll keep OFA a secret, right? Toshi. Yup, we both trust them. All of them continued to talk and finally having their drinks in their hands and taking sips out of it. Sakai. Looks at Enji and Toshi. So how's life as #1 and #2 heroes of Japan? Enji. It's getting kinda tough, not gonna lie. Ryo. That's new, the great and powerful Enji Todoroki actually admitting he's having a hard time. Toshi. Same here, villains are getting more powerful lately. Enji. And there's more of them than before. They're both increasing in quality and quantity. Tatsuya. So even you two are having a harder time dealing with villains. Toshi. Yup, new generations of villains are coming faster than heroes. Enji. And they're threatening the lives of innocent civilians. I know Tuya can defend himself from them and I even increased Shoto's training because of it, but villains are really getting harder to defeat. Toshi. I even heard hero schools are increasing their training and the Hero Public Safety Commission along with many pro heroes are trying their best to help increase the security for the civilians and stop the villains. Enji. But still, despite that, villains are still getting powerful and harder to defeat. The others except Toshi and Enji looked at each other and nodded. That's exactly what we wanted to talk about regarding that. The two have looked confused until they started talking again. Raiji. You see, our daughters are planning on becoming heroes someday. And they're currently entering their final year in middle school. Ryota. But we're afraid that because of the status of our families that villains will use them against us and can harm them because of it. Ryo. And especially with the spike of villain activity, we're afraid for their welfare and safety once they go to school or anywhere. Tatsuya. We know they're strong, but they still lack experience and the proper training and we're afraid that villains will use that to their advantage and use or hurt them. Sakai. We're worried for the safety of our daughters, especially since we can't be with them all the time due to their classes, our jobs and other stuff. Or what we're trying to say is, maybe you two can know someone who can be our daughter's bodyguard. The two of them sat in silence. Their declaration hung in the air, and their surprised expression saying all that their mouth failed to. Until finally they got over their shock with Enji breaking the silence. Enji. What, you guys are asking the both of us? Ryo. Yup. Toshi. But can't you guys hire someone, Why are you asking us? Tatsuya. We did, and it was a bad idea. The bodyguard I hired for Ayaka nearly raped her. I was lucky enough to have intervened before something bad happened to her. Raiji. And the one I hired for Stella was exactly the same and was even peeping on her and taking her underwear to sniff on it. Ryota. After incidents like those, we can't trust hiring a random stranger from one we know of. Say. So we want to ask from trusted people like you, maybe you personally know someone who can be a great bodyguard for them. Sakai. We only request one since they'll be living in the same roof and aren't separated. We don't care about the personality, we just need the bodyguard to be strong, smart, skilled in many household tasks, not a pervert, can actually protect them and is closely the same age as them so they can even protect them in school. Say. Please you too, we need this for the safety of our daughters. The two of them sat in silence and began thinking of possible people they know that can match the description of their desired bodyguard. And the two of them had one person in mind and cut the silence. Toshi. Well, we do know someone who can match the description you guys gave. Say. That's great, Enji. But the person we know is actually on the strict side. Sakai. Like I said, we don't care about the personality. So whoever this person you know is completely fine with us as long as he has the other traits. The both of them looked at each other and nodded. Toshi. But the one problem is his current occupation. Tatsuya. So the person's a male, huh? And what about his occupation? Enji. Size, do you guys remember Hisashi? Sakai. Ah, Hisashi Midoriya. Yeah, I remember him from back then. Toshi. Did you invite him here? Sakai. Everyone. Say. Size, you forgot to invite him. Sakai. Sort of forgot. Ryota. How could you forget to invite him? Sakai. Like you guys are the one to talk. None of you didn't even say anything about Hisashi. Ryo. Say. Toshi. Alright, enough. Me and Enji contacted him when we heard the invite. He said he'll be here a bit late because he's busy. Ryota. But what is Hisashi's job? Toshi. He's an agent from the government. Tatsuya. Agent, huh? I thought he would go for the hero course because of his quirk. Raiji. But back to the question, how does this person relate to Hisashi? Enji. Well, his son actually has all of the skills you require, but his occupation is the one thing. Have you guys ever heard of the Reaper? All of a sudden the musicians stopped playing again as everything was dead silent in the room. Say. The Reaper. Raiji. I thought that guy was just an urban legend. Ryo. Yeah. Sakai. Hang on, I'm confused, who is the Reaper? Tatsuya. Size, they said a kid was once born in a city of slums. The only thing the kid learned from that city was if you kill people, they die. Ryota. So they said that the kid chose the path of the assassin. Raiji. People said it was his calling. Say. He's killed the mighty with knowledge, he's killed the intelligent with strength and skill, and those gifted with both he enticed with his personal magnetism. Ryo. But when he reached 1,000 kills, he was known as the Reaper. They say he's elusive, cold-blooded, and with piles of bodies at his wake. They even consider him death itself. And the world considers him the #1 assassin. Tatsuya. But people haven't heard of the Reaper in a long time. Sakai. If that's the case, how does this relate to the bodyguard? Toshi. Don't be shocked, but Hisashi's son is also known as Enji. The Reaper's apprentice. The entire atmosphere instantly shifted, as the lights started flickering and Sei accidentally dropped his glass. Ryo. Gulps. Did you say, the Reaper's apprentice? Sakai. Oh okay, I am so afraid to ask, who is the Reaper's apprentice? Tatsuya. The Reaper's apprentice is literally stated to be the Reaper's student. Most people has seen the Reaper's apprentice. They call him other names like Emerald Shadow because of his green piercing eyes that can be seen in the shadows, and Twilight because of his light-like abilities in the dark. Raiji. He's known to be even more cold-blooded, stronger, faster, skilled and stealthier. Ryota. They said it is never known who his target is or where he might strike next. Ryo. But all they know is that they'll be dead before they knew him. Raiji. And they call him the world's #1 assassin with over 500,000 kills to his name. Sakai. So, the bodyguard you're suggesting is an assassin. Enji. Relax, yes he may be the #1 assassin, but he actually works for the government just like the Reaper. The chilling sensation in the room slowly started to fade. Say. Wait, what? Toshi. Yes, the Reaper might have been known as a notorious killer, but he changed and has been working with the government a few times in the past before he retired. Enji. And Hisashi's son is exactly the same. He's been assisting the Japanese government in defeating villains and other assassins with ease than other heroes. He's also been a key asset in most recent wars and assisting different armies worldwide in fighting against large villain groups. Ryo. Still though, how are you fine with him killing people? Toshi. He hasn't killed anyone innocent, he only targets villains, assassins, murderers, rapists, corrupts and anyone he sees does wrong. Enji. He's the perfect bodyguard for your daughters, just in case they get targeted by villains, assassins, rapists and more. Raiji. How old is he? Enji. Slightly older than your daughters, he's 15 now. He has a 1 to 2 age gap I think. Say. How old was he when he started to be the government's assassin? Toshi. He was 10 when he started. Sakai. That young. Tatsuya. And to think he's reached over 500,000 kills in a span of 6 years is mind-blowing. Raiji. Just how strong is he? Sips his drink. Enji. Well, he's strong as me and Toshi and might be even stronger than us. Raiji. A 15-year-old and he's that strong. Ryo. And the fact that it was Enji who admitted it. The kid must be really strong for his age. Toshi. What do you guys say? Say. Well, Tatsuya. I agree. Say. Tatsuya. Well, even though he's an assassin, like what they say, he has every skill we need. He's strong and skilled as they say he is, and besides he doesn't kill innocents based on what they said. Looks at Say with a serious expression. We need anyone we could possibly reach in order for the safety of our daughters, even if it's an assassin. Ryo. He's right. Say. Even you Ryo. I lost my wife before, I can't lose my daughter this time. Sakai. Even I have to agree. Even if he's an assassin, he's still our best bet to protect our daughters. They always did say to fight fire with fire, so we have to fight an assassin with an assassin. Ryota. We lost Magnus, I am not losing my daughter too. Enji and Toshi are the one who suggested this guy, if we trust them then we could trust this guy. Say. Size I guess. I am not going to lose my daughter or let her get hurt by bastards for their own pleasure and benefit. Looks at Toshi and Enji. How do we get to him? Toshi. We need Hisashi to contact him. All of a sudden there was a knock on the door making them all look at it again. But they could hear a familiar muffled voice from the outside. Enji, Toshi, are you both in there? Enji and Toshi recognizes the voice and looks at Sakai and nods. Enji. That's Hisashi. Toshi. Definitely. Sakai walks towards the door and types the password and opens the door. It reveals a male with a round face framed by a short mess of fluffy black hair which sticks up at odd angles around his head, casting noticeably dark shadows onto itself. His eyes are sharp, their irises are green, has a mole to the side of his right eye and small stubble around his jaw. It was none other than Hisashi Midoriya. His quirk is called Elemental Manipulation, which grants him the ability to shape, create and manipulate basic elements of nature. The drawback is different depending on the elements he uses. Sakai. Hey, Hisashi, been a while. Hisashi stared into his eyes for a sec before sighing and taking a cigarette from his pocket. He then summons fire from his finger and lights it before putting it in his mouth. Hisashi. You forgot to invite me again, did you? Sakai. Hisashi. Chuckles. Nah, it's fine. It's partially my fault for not contacting you guys for a long time. Sakai. Sighs in relief. Thanks, Hisashi. Come on in, how about you order a drink? Hisashi. Thanks, I'll have a Moscow Mule. Sakai. Ricky, 1 Moscow Mule. Ricky nods and starts to make his drink. Hisashi walks in towards Enji and places an arm on his shoulder. Hisashi. Been a while Enji. Thanks for the invite, Enji. Chuckles. Same here, Hisashi. Looking good, huh, Hisashi. Grins. You know it. The two of them then fist bumped. Toshi. Good to see you, Hisashi. Hisashi. Same here, Toshi. Hisashi looked at the rest who had slight nervousness in their expressions. Say. Hey, Hasashi. Sorry Sakai. Nah, guys he's cool with it. Hasashi. Yeah, it was partially my fault for not contacting you guys for a long time. Say. It's good to see you again, Hasashi. Hasashi. Chuckles same here. Time skip. Time passed as they decided to talk with each other again and reminiscing some moments with Hasashi. They talked to each other about some experiences but they still had the request they wanted to tell him about his son. Sakai. Chuckles asterisk is it really that hard? Hasashi. You have no idea how hard it is being part of the government. You have lots of paperworks, lots of missions and all that. I can just finally sit back and relax for a while. Say. So Inko's the lucky girl who married you, huh? Hasashi. Chuckles yeah, she's currently taking care of Sora and Hotaru back at our home. Ryo. Sora and Hotaru. Hasashi. Oh, 2 of my 4 kids. They're studying at Aldera with their friends. Enji. Speaking of kids, Hasashi, they actually have a request regarding one of them. Hasashi. Request. Sakai. Size you said that even villains are hard on your end, right? Hasashi. Yeah, it's been pretty tough and the paperwork is no joke. Villains are getting stronger like crazy. Ryota. And we need actually something from you that we talked about with our wives along with Enji and Toshi. Hasashi. And that is. Tatsuya. We need your son to be our daughter's bodyguards. Hasashi. Raiji. Enji and Toshi has been talking about your other son being the Reaper's apprentice and the world's #1 assassin and all. Hasashi. Wide eyes Ryo. It's okay, we won't tell anyone about his identity. But as we said, the recent spike of villain activity has us fearing about the safety of our daughters. Ryota. And we need someone to protect them because we're always away and we can't take care of them, especially since they'll be going to school again and considering the names of our families are well known. Raiji. He has the right skill set that we need for the safety of our daughters. We really need this since we'll be leaving Stella here since we'll go back to France once school starts. Tatsuya. We need this to assure the safety of our daughters, and even though he's an assassin, we trust that he can protect him. Hasashi. Are you guys sure? He may be a bit strict and in a phase right now and he's also the #1 assassin in. Say. We're sure, Hasashi. Please. We need this to assure the safety of our daughters. Hasashi glances to Toshi and Enji who nod at him. He sighs and places his drink on the table and rests an arm on his chin. Hasashi. Alright, but there might be some conditions if we're going to get him as your daughter's bodyguard. Raiji. That'll be fine. We just need to contact our wives about it. Say. Thanks, Hasashi. Hasashi. No prob, but contacting and convincing him will be the bigger challenge. I'll try to contact him through the general, we haven't seen or called each other in a long time. Say. How so? Hasashi. He's cut all communication from our home and people he's close to. He's trying to be careful with his job. I just hope the general can convince him. He's not the most sociable person or has been the most softest lately. Tatsuya. Speaking of, what's the name of your son? Hasashi. Size Izuku Midoriya. Raiji. And where is he right now? The scene then shifts to a green US helicopter flying over the ocean. Inside the helicopter is a pale-skinned male with a red headset, red shoes, and a US Army jacket accompanied with light green pants. Alright buddy, we're almost there. Deeper inside the chopper is an individual sitting on a green storage chair. The individual's uniform resembled that of a samurai, with a primarily black suit with gold outlines throughout it. It features a black mask with a gap over the eyes, a hood, and armor on the arms and legs which protect him from blades. There is a belt that contains some items, as well as a back holster for a blade behind him. He was twirling a dagger on his fingertips as deep green eyes are staring at the dagger. Hasashi. He's currently helping the US government take down a dangerous villain group. Ryo. Is he going to be alright? Toshi. Chuckles you're talking about Izuku here, Ryo. Enji. Chuckles if anything, it's his enemies are going to be the ones needing help. Hasashi. Because if anything is certain. His eyes started glowing as the dagger in his hand starts to glow and float. His eyes show a reflection of his main target that's on a dark target. The dagger floats and flies towards the target very fast and hits a bullseye mark on the target as the individual continues to stare at it with killing intent evident in his eyes. Hasashi. His enemies are sure to be sentenced to death by the Reaper's apprentice. No one's paw. In the middle of the ocean, a green U.S. helicopter was currently flying. It was a green U.S. utility military helicopter, which are known to be highly versatile aircrafts that excel in all environments. These helicopters can be utilized for all functions from reconnaissance or attack to transport and evacuation operations. As it flies to the ocean, time shifts from day to night since it's currently entering a new time zone. If it's 12 p.m. in the US and 1 a.m. in Japan, while it's currently 9:30 p.m. in the time zone it's in. Alright buddy, we're almost there. And inside the chopper contains two individuals. The first one was a pale-skinned male with a round head. He has a red headset, red shoes, and a US Army jacket accompanied over a black shirt with light green pants. Deeper inside the chopper is a male individual sitting on a green storage chair. The male's uniform resembled that of a samurai, with a primarily black suit with gold outlines throughout it. It features a black mask with a gap over the eyes, a hood, and armor on the arms and legs which protect him from blades. There is a belt that contains some items, as well as a back holster for a blade behind him. The individual was currently twisting a dagger out of thin air from his hands as he stared at it. So this is where the general wanted us to go, right Charlie? The one who the individual was referring to was Charles Calvin, or his codename, Bold Action Man. A bold action man and vehicle crashing is life. He is a veteran helicopter pilot who works for the US government. He may be quirkless, but he's extremely skilled and one of the youngest and experienced pilots working for the US government. And he's also a member of the Triple Threat. Charles. Yep, we're getting closer though, like 15 minutes tops we'll make it. Alright then. All of a sudden a beeping call could be heard throughout the chopper. Charles. It's the general. Maybe he can fill us on the details of what we're doing here. Charles presses a button and a holographic figure appears in front of him and in front of the other individual. The individual was an old man with tight eyes and gray long mustache, with a spiky gray beard. He's wearing a dark green military cap along with a military general outfit, green pants and green shoes. It was none other than General Hubert Galaforce of the US government. General Galaforce. Charles. Heya, Captain G. Galaforce. Codename. Deku and Bold Action Man, glad to see you two boys doing well. The general was referring codename Deku to the individual in the black samurai outfit holding a dagger in his fingertips, though little is still known about the individual. Deku. Anyways, what's the situation, General? Charles. Yeah, why are we flying at this part of South Asia? Galaforce. Alright, let me just get right to it. All of a sudden he shows them a holographic projection of a giant island. The island consists of a metallic, circular foundation topped by a hexagonal patterned glass and metal dome surrounding it. But inside the dome a city could be seen. Deku. South City Island. Charles. South City. Deku. South City is a man-made island located in the parts of southern Asia just like Hai Island. It has every resource to support life living in the middle of nowhere. The dome acts as a defense and a way to control the climates of the island. The city is famous for its controlled climates and its defense comparable to Hai Island that the place doesn't even have any heroes. It's perfect for a safe vacation for people. The island itself could support and house over 13,000 civilians. So what's the situation with South City? Galaforce. A month ago, communications were mysteriously cut off from the island. And a week after that, passengers who went to that location never returned back home nor the planes or ships they rode. So we sent 2 of your friends to infiltrate and do an undercover investigation a week ago, and this is what they found. A screen flashed next to him and showed them a couple of pictures that made Charles look wide-eyed while the Deku's eyes remained serious but were slowly filling with bloodlust. The first picture showed the residents of the apartments hiding in fear as a bunch of villains were walking around and hunting them. Another showed an arena where 2 random civilians were bruised and fighting against each other while a bunch of villains were cheering and watching them fight. And the last one showed a girl crying in the middle of a stage as many rich-looking people were raising their hands. Charles. What in the world happened? Galaforce. Based on the info from our informants, a villain group named Black Noah, was able to bypass the security system and take over the island. The civilians were forced into hiding while the others were captured and used as slaves and entertainment. Another picture then flashed showing a bunch of civilians in jail cells. Galaforce. They place the ones they captured in jail cells and turn them into their servants. And also use them for entertainment by putting two of them in a fight for survival. The winner survives, the loser dies, and if both disagree, they both die. Charles. And the other picture. Galaforce. It was discovered by our informants that they specifically kidnap beautiful girls and sell them to greedy and corrupted rich people for the right price as servants or sex slaves. Deku's eyes remained serious and just focused on the information, but it showed a slight hint of anger and disgust. Deku. Any idea who's the leader? Galaforce. Right, maybe you recognize him. The general then shows a new picture of a male individual. The male had muscular dark pale skin. He had white hair, has a black painter's brush mustache, a bionic right eye and a prosthetic right arm. The male was laughing menacingly in front of the civilians. And Deku clearly recognized who he is. Deku. Rugal Bernstein, the America's #1 villain. Charles. Wait, I thought you killed that guy back during the cruise ship incident a few years ago. Deku. Size he was able to teleport away before I could land the killing blow. He must have been experimented and genetically enhanced to survive from the blows I left him, judging from his eye and arm. Charles. So he could be stronger than before, right? Deku. In theory, yes. Charles. So what do you want us to do, Captain G? Galaforce. Simple, signal your two friends Red Rose and Bald Wonder to first disable the security system of the dome, then we can proceed to what you do best. A paper then came out of the hologram from Charles's area and he passed it to the individual. It showed Rugal's details and bounty and other high-priority targets such as Vice and Mature and others. Galaforce. Eliminate all the villains and kill Rugal once and for all, then signal us. We'll be right behind you boys to rescue and treat the civilians and bring them back to their homes. Do you think you boys can handle it? Charles. You can count on us, Captain G. What did you say, buddy? Deku stops twirling his dagger and his eyes suddenly glow as the dagger and the poster of Rugal glow. Deku. Rugal may be stronger than before, but he has a weakness. The poster floats towards the door as Deku's eyes clearly show the reflection of Rugal. Deku. The fact that he's alive, the fact that he has a heart and a pulse. The dagger then flies towards the poster and hits it directly at Rugal's head. Deku. As all I need to kill him. Even if he's stronger than before, that won't stop me from killing him once and for all. Galaforce. Excellent, boys. We're really putting all our potatoes in one sack on this one. So don't let us down, boys. Deku. Don't worry, General. Because Deku's eyes were still glowing and full of bloodlust. Deku. All will be sentenced to death. Time skip. In the middle of the ocean is a floating man-made island called South City. It was surrounded by a metallic, circular foundation topped by a hexagonal patterned glass and metal dome surrounding it to protect it and control the climate and weather. Inside the dome is a big, circular city that is divided into multiple sections such as North and South Boulevard that run on the north and south edge of the city and avenues and plazas that connect to each other all the way to the middle. The middle part of the city has a giant tower where the entire city is being controlled. It was 10 p.m. in South City, and things were not looking good for any of the civilians. Over 2,000 innocent civilians are dead from fighting each other, some were already sold to corrupted rich people, and some died due to poor conditions, starvation and dehydration. Those who are still alive are praying that someone would save them from this hellhole. Tonight was another night like before. Another arena fight is going to be held in the tower along with another auction for ladies. The tower has been remodeled to hold these new events. Many minor villains and corrupted millionaires are arriving in the city from their boats, helicopters or planes. And the outside of the dome had villain guards protecting the city from heroes and guide the villain guests to the main hub. Right now a male guard with black hair and wearing a hat is now guiding a corrupted millionaire named Joe Crawley who just arrived. Guard. Welcome, sir. Joe. Size this better be worth it, I came all the way from my fancy new chopper to get here. Guard. Chuckles, you won't regret it, sir. Joe. Now, where exactly is this event being held? Guard. Frank. Another guard then comes walking towards the two. Guard. Lead this gentleman towards the tower. Frank. Nods. Right this way, sir. Joe follows Frank towards the inside of the dome. As the guard sighs and gets back into his position and looks at the stars in the sky to relax. All of a sudden he sees a star flashing in a weird pattern. Guard. Raises an eyebrow. What the? He noticed that the star is blinking in a unique pattern, almost like a code or something. It stopped again before flashing and he tried to understand the pattern. Question mark question mark question mark question mark colon. Translation. Operation Take Back South City is a go. Initiate the greatest plan. Phase 1. Disable security system. The guard finally understood what the flashing lights meant and nodded and raised a thumb before the light disappeared. He then glanced to his side to see his guard companion and suddenly pressed his phone in his pocket, which made a fake call noise as he picks it up and fake answers it. A few seconds later he called the guard next to him. Guard. Hey, Gene. Gene. Groans. What is it now? Guard. Can you cover for me? Orders say I just need to check something back at the security room. Gene. Sighs. Fine. Do whatever the fuck you want. Guard. Thanks dude, I owe you. Gene. Waves his hand. Yeah. The guard then walks inside the city and walks past multiple other guards and villains as he heads to the tower in the middle area. He makes it towards the middle area and walks towards a door labeled, Authorized Personnel Only, and meets another guard named Jeff guarding the door. Guard. Hey dude. Can I, go in? Boss said I should check the security system and sub with the one keeping guard in there. Jeff. You have to verify this with the boss cause this is the first time hearing this. He picks up a walkie-talkie. Boss, this is Jeff, coming over. Jeff tries to contact the boss while the guard just had his arms inside the pocket of his pants while his eyes temporarily flashed for a second. Jeff. Hello boss. He's not answering. Guard. Look, the guy in there must have been working all day, just let me sub with him and I'll explain to the boss later. Jeff. Nah. There's something funny going on here. I won't let you in until I get clear orders from the boss. Guard. Alright, just let me call the boss on my phone and he'll verify this. Jeff. Alright, go ahead, but don't try anything funny. The guard picks up his phone and presses a button on it and fake calls the boss while his eyes temporarily flashed again. Guard. Hey boss, it's me requesting clearance for the substitution with the security system. Guard chuckles. Yeah. He's being difficult. Shows his phone to Jeff. Here he is. The guard shows his phone to Jeff, and suddenly the voice of the boss can be heard in a loudspeaker. Boss on the guard's phone. Let him through, you blockhead. Or it's hospital or a cemetery, it is your choice. Jeff. Oh I'm sorry boss, my mistake. Jeff moves aside and unlocks the door to let the guard in the doors. Guard. Sighs in relief. Luckily I chose the jammer and recording number 3 and not anything else, that could have ended horribly. Also, he gets a key card from his pocket with Jeff's name and identity. Guard. Chuckles internally. Looks like Gabe's gadgets are finally pulling through. This card copier works like a charm. The guard walks further into the building and finds an elevator. He walks in the elevator and presses the button to floor 68. The door closes and the elevator takes him to his desired floor. A few seconds later, the door opens and he finds himself on a floor labeled Power and Utilities. He walks out of the elevator and down the hallway with different labels. He reaches the end of the hallway and finds a blast door with a label on it called Max Control and a key card panel on the side. He gets Jeff's card from his pocket and swipes it on a panel. A few seconds later it confirms it and the door opens up revealing a large room. The room contains a large keyboard that controls a bunch of systems in the island that is being monitored by a bunch of monitors. The room also had windows that shows a view of the outside. A chair was also placed in front of the monitors and a person named Bill is sitting on it. Bill looks behind him to see the guard walking towards him. Guard. Hey, Bill buddy. Bill. Hey, what are you doing here? Guard. Haven't you heard from the boss? I'll be substituting you, while you go take some rest. The guard stops exactly in front of him as Bill had a curious look on his face. Bill. Substitution. I have no idea what you're talking about, I was just talking with the boss a moment ago. Guard. Well, that's a shame. Before Bill could react, the guard's eyes flashed, then suddenly a taser and anti-quirk cuffs appears on his hands. Bill was about to use his quirk before his hands suddenly got cuffed and a taser was right next to his neck and shocked him until he fainted. Guard chuckles, well, that went smoothly. The guard removes his hat, which revealed that his hat and hair was just a wig. He then grabs his face, which reveals to be a disguise mask, and revealed that the guard has pale skin. He also touches his eyes and removes what seem to be blue contact lenses that reveal his real black eyes. Guard sighs in relief. Finally, that disguise was getting hot to wear. The guard then lays Bill's body close to the floor and started hacking the security system. He started disabling the master controls from Rugal. He also started to hack all guard bots and disable all security system features and doors. He also hacked the security system for the prison area where all the captive civilians are being held, along with also the power to the entire city. He also disabled all weapons that the villains use, since all weapons in this area are only controlled and activated by the master control. Finally, he disabled the outer defenses and started to transfer the master control system without anyone noticing. A few minutes later, the transfer reaches 100. He looks at a window and picked up a flashlight from Bill's pocket. He started using the flashlight on the window and started signal somewhere in the sky. Guard translation: hacking complete. Passed all master controls to you. Now what? A few seconds later, a light flashes again in the sky in a pattern. Translation: initiate the greatest plan phase 2, party crasher. Meet you at helicopter parking 2 and signal red rose. The guard nods and flashes a message back. Guard translation: understood, be there in 5 minutes. I got to take the secret route out. The light from the outside mysteriously disappears and the guard walks towards the door and opens it while carrying Bill behind his back. But before he continues walking, he broke the key card scan of the door as it closes. He then goes to a door labeled storage and finds duct tape, a belt of grenades and a chair. So he tied Bill to the chair with the duct tape and tied the belt of grenades on him while keeping the cuffs on. He then leaves the room and went towards the elevator and went into his room in floor 45. As he enters his room, he takes all of his stuff inside his bag and walks towards the window of his room. His eyes flash again as suddenly a machine appears next to him called the paperizer. He then stood in between and pressed a button on his phone before he sighs exasperatedly. Guard, this is gonna hurt. He then suddenly pressed the button of the machine as the top part starts to lower down him as his face shows he's in slight pain and freezes on the spot. As the thing on the top goes down, his body slowly starts into a sheet of paper. A few seconds later, his whole body turns into a sheet of paper and it falls face flat to the window. The paper guard started to float from his window to the area where the light told him to go. Meanwhile, inside a dressing room of the tower, a red-haired female with green eyes wearing Chinese-like clothes and also had cuffs in her hands felt vibrations in her pocket. She looked around for guards and saw no one, so she swiftly used her 2 hands to check it and it revealed her phone with a notification on it and a message. She then reads the contents of the message. Phase 2. Party crasher is a go, Red Rose. We move at your signal. The red-haired girl smirked internally as she attempted to write a reply. Roger that. The red-haired girl hid her phone back in her pocket just as more kidnapped girls are entering the room, all crying with villains guards leading them. She internally smirks looking at the villains. Thought, don't worry, everyone, this will all be over soon. Time skip. It was already 11 p.m. in South City, and inside the tower, an auction was being held for the beautiful selected girls, while an arena was also there to watch 2 civilians fight to the death. The room had a stage where the girls will stand to be auctioned for, while there was an arena built below to watch a fight between 2 civilians, as there were chairs and tables for the auctioneers to vote and watch at the same time, while there was also seats in the arena below for those who mostly want to watch the fight while looking at the females. A lot of corrupted millionaires are currently seated in the room and waiting for the auction to happen, and a bunch of villains in the arena are waiting for the fight to happen. In the meantime, a bunch of girls in dresses held captive are in the dressing room. One of them is currently being fixed up in front of a mirror by maid who was fixing the girl's hair, as she had a ball and chain tied to her legs. The said girl had black hair that was being fixed to a single tail and a black dress to accompany it. The maid then picked up a brush and applied some lip gloss to the girl, but it can be noticeable that the girl was crying as a tear was shedded from her cheek. The maid steps away and looks at the girl who was shedding tears. Maid. I won't be able to put on your makeup if you cry, you know. The girl sat up properly and attempted to stop crying. Maid. That's better. But in the end, the girl kept shedding tears. Girl. Tearing up. I don't need to be beautiful, sniff. The maid also started to dribble down some tears of her own and wishing this will all end. As another girl with long blonde hair and in a red dress walked past the both of them and towards outside where a guard was keeping watch. Currently corrupted millionaires in masks are seated and eating served food and talking to each other while waiting for the next girl to auction. Until finally, the silence broke as the announcer called the next girl. Announcer. All right, the next is. The curtains opens up to reveal the long blonde-haired girl with a red dress and cuffs on her hands slowly walking forward with a sad expression on her face as all the millionaires stare at her with lust. Announcer. Merchandise number 6. She's from Sweden, 14 years old. Her weight is 155 centimeters, and her weight is 41 kilogram. Her hair is blonde and the color of her eyes are gray. The millionaires smirk with lust evident in their faces as the girl just stood there with tears threatening to fall down her face. Announcer. She's perfectly healthy, no external wounds. The bid starts at 3 million. The announcer brings his hammer down as many of the millionaires started raising their hands with different values of numbers. Announcer. 4 million, 5 million, and now 6 million has appeared. As the millionaires were betting on the girl, the said girl had tears flowing down her cheeks as the bills kept on increasing from 7 million to 7.5 million. Meanwhile, sitting on the upper deck of the room was 2 females who were being served some wine. The first female was a 28-year-old blonde hair with her hair having tied to a bun behind and had some covering her left eye. She has blue eyes and was also very busty and was wearing a black dress that reaches to her feet. She was known as Mature, a very well-known villain with the nickname the Speedy Cruel Beauty. The second one was a 27-year-old short brown-haired female. She has brown eyes and was less busty than Mature. She was wearing a short black dress with designed sleeves and black leggings. It was none other than another known female villain named Vice, or she's known for her nickname the Throbbing Brutal Satic. Mature. Geez, they're all cheap steaks. Vice. Tell me about it, just bring up the prices already. Butler. It's already higher than the cost Rugal Sama paid for the merchandise. Vice Sama and Mature Sama, I think we already gained enough profit from this. Mature. Try saying that in front of Rugal Sama, you'll be dead before you knew it. We need more to supply the weaponry and build alliances to take over Asia. Vice. You're talking about the cost, but it's just for taking over this city, right? Mature. That girl is special. Mature and Vice looks at the blonde-haired girl in the middle of the crowd getting auctioned as tears were still running down her face. Mature. So good that I'd even take care of her for myself, so if she's sold for a cheap price, I won't accept it. Vice. At least we can still get a view of the fight from up here. But the fights are a bore, most of them are just hopeless simpletons who just add more bodies to Rugal Sama's collection. Vice was referring to the underground arena under the auction area. The entire floor was covered with a specially engineered glass that can resist a lot of blasts and attacks, but it's also perfect to see what was happening below. A fight is about happen below as a lot of outlaws and villains were present sitting and watching the fight while placing bets on who will win. An announcer then started talking as the crowd was willed up and more newcomers started coming in. Announcer. Welcome one and all, to our annual Survivor Games. These games are to demonstrate the power and might of us villains against simpletons like them. Villains started cheering on and wailing from the announcer's words. Announcer. To show that we are the superior ranks. To let the whole world know that villains like us should be respected and feared. The doors on both arenas started to open and reveal 2 civilians wearing ragged clothes and had quirk-canceling restraints on their feet. Announcer. Now it is time to cleanse ourselves of more pathetic hero worshippers. Vice. This is sure to be interesting. Mature. Indeed. Announcer. Sold to 50 million. Mature and Vice's gaze then moves back to the auction to see that someone bought the blonde-haired girl for 50 million. Vice. 50 million, huh? Mature. Looks like someone knows their right price. They watch as the blonde-haired girl walking to the millionaire who bought her. The millionaire had a dark blue hat with the letter C. Embedded in gold in the middle. Vice. Who's that one that bought her? Butler. If I remember correctly, his name is Chaplain Spencer IV from England. Mature. First time I heard of him. They see that the millionaire extended out his hand to pay the bill, but it looked a little like a robot making them look at the millionaire's Seuss, but decided to ignore it. Unknown to any of them, an individual was invisibly above the ceiling, like standing on an invisible like thread, and was listening to their conversation, with green piercing eyes staring at them like a predator stalking its prey. Back in the dressing room. Girl. Shedding tears please. The black-haired girl from earlier continued shedding tears along with the other maid from earlier. Maid. Shedding tears, let us go home. Girl. Crying, we want to be with my parents. Maid. Crying, I want to be with my mom. If that's so, then you need to be beautiful. The two glanced at the side to see a red-haired girl seated slightly far from them and was being fixed up by another maid. The red-haired girl then glanced at them and they saw her green captivating eyes. You're both girls after all. We stay strong and beautiful no matter the situations, right? The two girls looked shocked at her from her words and the fact that she's still smiling after all that's happening. All of a sudden, they hear loud clapping from the millionaires outside. Now I think it's my turn. Villain guard. Number 7, come. The red-haired girl stood up from her seat and started walking towards the outside of the room. Meanwhile, at the top floor of the tower, Rugal was seated on a throne and watching what was happening downstairs. He was drinking wine as a butler was standing next to his throne. Rugal. How much have we earned so far in the past month? Butler. Over $500 million, Rugal-sama. Rugal. Slams his fist on his throne. TCH. Still not enough. Butler. But don't we have enough, Rugal-sama? The plan was just to take over this island and harvest some resources. Why are we still? Rugal. Are you telling me what to do? Butler. And no, I was just worried, Rugal-sama. All of a sudden Rugal drops his wine glass to the floor and breaks. He then stares at the butler with anger visible in his bionic eye, making the butler start shivering in fear. Rugal stood up and walked towards the butler, who was still shivering in fear. As he was close to the butler, he then grabbed him by the neck as he stared coldly to the butler's eye full of fear. Rugal. I don't need your pity. We're turning this entire island to our base and we'll keep making alliances and get more money for more weapons and more money for my upgrades. Then no one will be match for me. No one would be able to stop me in my army. And I'll finally become the strongest in the world. Butler. Why yes, indeed, Rugal-sama. Apologies. Rugal-sama. Rugal. Smirks evilly. You do know what happens to those who disobey me, right? The butler starts shivering more as then Rugal closes his fist as the butler goes limp and dies on his hands. He then tosses the butler aside and lands close to a jail cell where a group of people are being held. It was the family of South City's leader, Mark Stevenson, who was also in the cell. Mark. Why, you're a monster. Suddenly Rugal glares at them, making them all shake in fear as Mark covers his children's eyes, who were shaking in fear and crying. Rugal. Chuckles, are you scared of me? Ha ha, seeing your helpless struggles pleases me. In time, the world will bow before me. Mark. Heroes will come here soon to stop you. Rugal. Chuckles evilly, resistance is pointless. Heroes are miles away from here. No way for you to call them for help. And even if they decided to come here, they'll be dead before they can even get in this place. Comply or resist, make your choice. Or you and your family will soon join my collection. Mark and his family just sat there in silence as they felt hopeless in the situation they're currently in. Rugal chuckles and went back to his throne and sat back on it. Rugal. Just enjoy a proper view of your people being sold and fight. You have a proper view and seat for it. Enjoy watching your people suffer. Rugal laughs while the family just sat there, feeling hopeless. But little did they know, they're about to be set free from their hellhole. Back at the arena and the auction stage. Announcer. Now let's get this show on the road. The villains in the arena started cheering loudly. Announcer. You know the rules and so do I. 2 fighters will fight to the death. The survivor will return to prison. If both refuse to fight, they'll be killed. Villains began cheering louder and some started readying their money for betting. Announcer. And our first battle for today, are two pathetic bastards who we found running around our food storage that were serving you." The villains started booing and yelling insults at those two. Announcer: "Bring them both out." The two gates then started opening, revealing two pale-skinned males on each side. They both looked closely familiar to each other. Both of them are wearing ragged clothes. One of them was wearing brown shoes and the other one had red shoes. One of them had more of a human expression while the other one had more of an expressionless look on their face. They both have anti-quirk restraints on their feet and are carrying swords as weapons. The two of them slowly walked to the middle of the arena as villains were throwing tomatoes at them. Though one of them tried to hide a smirk as he walked towards the middle. Back at the auction area, the millionaires are currently waiting for the next girl as they just kept eating and talking with each other. Vice: "I hope this fight won't be a bore like the last ones." Mature: "Let's just see how much these cheapsteaks bid on this one." The millionaires were then cut off from their daze as the announcer began talking again. Announcer: "The next one is the main attraction for tonight, Merchandise 7. As the curtain opens, it reveals the red-haired girl. She has green eyes and long red hair in a waist-length ponytail, curled slightly into a loose ringlet. Underneath her hair, she's wearing a brown circlet adorned with a pair of small, green, teardrop-shaped emeralds on thin chains. She's wearing a bronze bracelet on the upper half of her left arm and a brown headpiece. Her clothes is a red kipao dress with a long brown glove on her right hand and brown heels. The sight of her made all the millionaires looked amazed and stunned at her look. The red-haired girl continues to walk forward as the announcer continues to talk. Her flowing red hair and body making all the millionaires look at her with lust evident. Announcer: "She's from the US, 19 years old. Her height is 176 centimeters, her weight is 39 kilograms. Red hair, green eyes. Perfectly healthy, no external wounds, and no dental cavities." Meanwhile in the arena the two are getting in positions just as the red-haired girl is standing in front of the millionaires. The two civilians just stood there as the audience kept throwing tomatoes at them. Announcer: "Fight or you'll be killed." The two of them slowly turned towards the announcer holding their sword, but just as that was happening, the bidding was continuing. Announcer slams his hammer. The bid starts at 20 million. The millionaires started raising up their hands with different bids on it. Meanwhile the red-haired girl smirk. Red-haired girl: "Sorry boys, but tell me, how many girls have cried because of all of you?" That made everyone look curious and alarmed. But all of a sudden the lights started flashing and the red-haired girl's eyes suddenly glowed. As it glowed, her appearance started to change. At the same time at the arena, all of a sudden the lights started flickering, startling everyone. Announcer: "What in the..." Suddenly blue restraining devices came out of the seats and started wrapping around every villain and restraining them. One of the civilians at the middle of the arena then chuckled. "Perfect timing, Charles. Rugal." "What the..." Rugal was seated on his throne and watching the weird occurrences happening. He was alarmed that something was going on. So he tried to contact both Mature and Vice. Rugal: "Mature, Vice, what in the world is going on down there?" But to his surprise communications were cut off for him. Rugal: "I am possible." But as he was panicking, back at downstairs, the red-haired girl's appearance changed to something different. Her long red hair became short red hair, her eyes changed to red with red eyebrows, red lipstick was now present in her lips. Her skin turned to pale and her clothes started to change. Her red kipao dress became a black crop top under a pink jacket. Black mid-gloves are now present on both of her hands. She was also wearing gray jeans and silver boots. The male civilian then peeled his disguise off and it revealed to be the same pale bald male guard from earlier. Only this time he was wearing a black shirt, black mid-gloves, light brown pants and brown boots. The looks made villains and the millionaires looked shocked. As the two were revealed to be Henry Stickmin and Ellie Rose, members of the world-famous Triple Threat. Ellie: "All right boys. Breaks the fake cuffs, let's rock and roll." Scar SSR. All of a sudden the gun materializes in thin air and then she begins shooting all the millionaires to death. Ellie: "No mercy for all of you." Info: Name: Ellie Rose. Codename: Red Rose. Affiliation: U.S. Government, Triple Threat. Occupation: Secret Government Agent, Bounty Hunter, Private Investigator, Special Covert Ops Agent. Quirk: Random Perks. It allows her to choose from 4 different quirks depending on the situation she's in. The drawback is depending on the drawback of the quirk she's currently using, and she can't always get the desired quirk she wants. Specialties: Infiltration, head-on combat, ranged combat. As Ellie continues to shoot down all those defenseless millionaires and guards, Mature and Vice looked alarmed and decided to take cover while ordering the guards by yelling. Vice: Security, call reinforcements here right now and take them out. Mature: Take the children away. We still need them. The guards nod and decided to head back for the children while some sneakily ran out to call reinforcements. But as they stepped in towards the room, the millionaire that bought the blonde from earlier tapped his shoulder. Villain Guard 1. Huh. What's the big? He was cut off as he was punched in the face and knocked out. The other villain guards looked alarmed and readied their quirks to charge at him. One of them with a physical enhancer quirk charged at him and punched him in the face, but to his and their surprise, he felt like metal and injured his own arm as he screamed in pain. Villain Guard 2. Asterisk in pain. What the fuck? All of a sudden they hear the millionaire talk in a more robotic voice, as they could see that half of his face was a robot. But the robotic voice sounds very familiar. Millionaire. My turn. The millionaire's right arm then suddenly became a shotgun. As he started shooting the guards around it using it, a guard charges at him, but he throws to another guard and jumps over them and blasts them in the head. He sees 2 more from the side and shoot them as well. The millionaire then walks towards the guard's dead body and takes the cuff keys and tosses it to the blonde girl he bought earlier. Millionaire. Go and hide. Run with the others. The blonde-haired girl nods and runs inside and starts setting the girls free while the millionaire fights of the guards. Meanwhile at the arena, guards started coming out of the doors charging towards Henry and the other civilian. His eyes suddenly glow as he picks up 2 deagles from his pocket while the civilian arm suddenly became an assault rifle and the 2 of them started shooting and killing the guards. Info. Name: Henry Stickman. Codename: Bald Wonder. Affiliation: U.S. Government, Triple Threat. Occupation: Secret Government Agent, Bounty Hunter, Private Investigator, Special Covert Ops Agent. Quirk: Random Options. Henry's quirk allows him to gain 2 and more options whenever he's in a situation. Choosing an option can allow him to get items out of thin air or maybe even temporary powers. The drawback is that not all options can lead to a guaranteed success, and items and powers disappears once the problem is solved. Specialties: Pickpocketing, Close-Ranged Combat, Long-Ranged Combat, Infiltration. Meanwhile, new high score. From the outskirts of the city in helicopter parking number 2. Charles. Alright, new high score. Charles was inside his helicopter and the green storage chair was now a computer system. He was controlling 2 screens which were showing 2 separate people, one from the millionaire's view and the other from the civilian with Henry's view. Charles also has a headgear that's like to the 2 clones. Charles. Looks like these dummy links still works like a charm. Also need to help Henry and the others by keeping an eye on the cameras and the map. Info. Name: Charles Calvin. Codename: Bold Action Man. Affiliation: U.S. Government, Triple Threat. Occupation: Veteran Pilot, Covert Ops Agent. Quirk: Quirkless. Specialities: Hacking, Piloting, Communication Guru. Charles. Looks behind him. You girls doing fine. Charles looks behind him to see 5 girls in dresses behind him. They were eating a bunch of food and blood was clearly present on their dresses. Girls number 1. We're doing fine, mister. Girl number 2. Thank you for saving us. Charles. Nah, you should thank my friend in the black suit. He's the one who got you out. Girl number 3. Yeah, he saved us from evildoers. Girl number 4. Where is he now, mister? Charles. He's saving your friends and family. Girl number 5. Are you sure he can save them, mister? Charles. Chuckles. Don't worry girls, he's strong on his own. The 4 of us can save you girls along with your friends and families. Just sit back and relax. The Triple Threat and world's #1 assassin will save you. And besides, he hasn't showed up yet. Back with the others. At the arena, guards started to swarm Henry and Ellie. They started to get overwhelmed. That was until Ellie ran out of bullets. Ellie. Shit, I'm out. She dropped her gun to summon another one, but she was apprehended by a giant arm from one of the guards. Ellie. Let me go, you little shit. She tried to summon another gun, but as fast as she could see, Mature attached quirk-canceling cuffs on her hands and incapacitated her quirk. Mature and Vice then start walking towards her. Mature then grabbed her by the face as the villain guard let her go. Mature. Well, if it isn't Ellie Rose. Vice. Chuckles, you really are a hopeless simpleton now, huh? Ellie. Shut it, you shits. Mature. You know we could kill you right now. But maybe we can give you an offer as villain to a former criminal. Vice. You can join us and fight alongside us. You can have power you've ever imagined. Mature. What did you saw? She was cut off as Ellie spat on her face. Ellie. Over my dead body. Mature wipes the spit of her face and looks at her and hold her cheeks. Mature. Chuckles, such a shame. A beautiful girl like you would have been good use to Rugal-sama. Looks like we won't be meeting again. Vice. But I think you should be wary of your ally down there. Ellie looks down and her eyes widen as Henry was getting also overcome by guards, and she also sees that the villains are slowly breaking out of the restraints. Mature. You could have all avoided this if you joined us, but I guess it's too late for you. She then lets go of her cheek and slowly walks away with Vice. Vice. She's all yours, boys. Mature. Good night. Forever. Have a million sweet dreams. The guards then slowly walks towards her with evil smirks on their face as Ellie had a face of fear. But her face suddenly turned into a smirk. Ellie. I should be saying that to you. Mature and Vice suddenly look at her curiously when suddenly, heavy amounts of bloodlust could be felt inside the entire tower as everyone except Ellie and Henry felt a chill run down their spine. In the top of the tower, Rugal also felt the bloodlust and he couldn't help but smirk at the familiar feeling. Rugal. Hee hee. I've been waiting for this day. He's finally here. Play music. Everyone felt a humongous amount of killing intent, making them all flinch and unable to move. The lights started flickering more unstably, sending shiver down their spines even more. Vice. What's this? Villain guard number 1. Vice, same, up there. Villain guard number 2. On the ceiling. They all look up on the ceiling to see a single thread placed between the room and saw an individual standing between them. They saw its green eyes releasing a huge amount of bloodlust, making every member villain in who saw it even in the arena think about death. They finally get a good look at the individual and saw a male wearing a uniform resembled that of a samurai, with a primarily black suit with gold outlines throughout it. Every villain finally recognized who it was and started shaking in fear even more. Vice. He's Mature. The one to have extremely injured Rugal-sama. And the one who has killed nearly half a million people. Villain number 1. No way. Villain number 2. It's him. Villain guard number 1. It's. Villain guard number 2. Gulps, the world's number 1 assassin. Villain guard number 3. The Reaper's apprentice. All of them continue to stare at him when suddenly a bunch of glass shards appeared around his right arm as he closed his eyes as Charles began talking to him through his earpiece. Charles. All right, buddy. Your targets are anyone who's a villain here. That includes Mature, Vice, villain guards and villains themselves. I'll bring in the security system reinforcements to protect civilians and support. Go do your thing, buddy. Mature and Vice noticed that he closed his eyes, so they used it as an opportunity. Mature. Kill the girl. Quick. Vice. And kill that bald-headed bastard. He then opens his eyes and glares at the villains just as they charge towards Ellie. Deku. They will be sentenced to death. The shards on his right hand suddenly float down towards Ellie and surrounds her as the villains were very close to her. Deku. Soul shards. Blinding expansion. The shards then start spinning faster before they explode in a flash of light that blinded every villain in the area. At the same time they were sent flying but with cuts on their necks, killing them instantly as the shards slowly returned to his right arm. As everyone was still blinded, an orb of light was charging on his hand as he then contacted Henry and Charles on his earpiece. Deku. Charlie, disable the restraints. Henry. Dual tech. Henry smirks as he then gets into position and holds both his deagles in AT pose. As Charles disabled the restraints, as villains then started to charge towards Henry. But before they could, Deku. Light infusion. Disintegrating burst refraction. Deku releases a beam of red light down towards Henry as his deagles started to glow red and he starts spinning fast like a tornado while releasing a barrage of light bullets towards the villains who just stood there as the light gets brighter and the villains get overwhelmed. A few seconds later, it stops and Henry puts his deagles in his pocket as the villains slowly start to turn to dust one by one. Charles. Wow. Deku leans back and falls down to the floor as he lands staring at Ellie and speaks to her using his earpiece. Deku. Ellie, you and Henry rescue the prisoners and deal with the villains outside, there's less of them outside. I'll deal with the villains and Rugal from the inside. Ellie was hesitating when all of a sudden Mature ordered the guards to fire at her. Mature. Fire at the girl. Just as the guards start launching a barrage of bullets at Ellie, Deku unsheathes the katana from his back surprising Ellie. He then immediately turns around and starts deflecting all the bullets being fired at her. A few seconds later they stop firing and Deku immediately sheathes his blade back facing Mature and Vice. He looks back at Ellie and communicates to her and Henry using his earpiece. Deku. Go, I'll cover you both. Henry and Ellie reply and nod as they quickly run into a different direction leaving Deku with Mature and Vice along with villains and guards. Music pause at 0:40. Vice slowly walks towards Deku slow clapping as Deku gave them a dull glare with his bloodlust fading a bit. Vice. Slow claps so we finally meet Emerald Shadow. I have to admit that was an impressive show you put on there. Deku. Mature. Not much of a talker, huh? Deku. Vice. What's an assassin like you doing with the US government? Mature. You must be such a waste of space for them. Deku. Tilts his head. Vice. What, you're considering us as worse as you? Mature. You forget your own crimes, but still want to hold us accountable. That's going too far. Deku. Mature. We've got no business with you. Unless you're looking for some fun, boy. Vice. Maybe someone like you can join us in Rugal-sama. We're in a bit of trouble at the moment, so be a good boy and help us out, will you? From an assassin to another assassin. I mean we're comrades after all, right? Mature. So what's your choice? Agree, you live, disagree, you die. Life is one bargain after another. So make your choice. They all flinched when all of a sudden the pressure in the tower grew thicker once again as bloodlust was radiating from his green piercing eyes. He stomps his foot on the ground and it cracks as he got into a fighting stance and he began talking. Deku. Those who killed for desire have no right to live. I'm your guide to the underworld. So tell me, how do you wish to die? Because death awaits you. Mature. Giggles, how cute. Vice. Chuckles, so be it. This should be truly interesting. Mature. Stay back, boys, I shall take everything out of him. The guards nod and went out. Continue music at 0:40. Mature and Vice both stood in front of him as they both got into a stance and ready to fight him. The three of them had a stare off and was waiting to see who would move first. Until at the same time both Mature and Vice charged and jumped towards Deku at lightning speed, readying a kick. Mature. Crematory. Vice. Outrage. But before they could even land a hit. Deku. Reaper's Lament. Deku summons a barrier of light in front of him that intercepted Mature and Vice's attack. The two of them looked wide-eyed at his reaction speed as the barrier disappears and they were blown back. The two of them stood back up as Deku just taunts them. Deku. Come. The two of them glare at him with anger and killing intent visible in their eyes. Vice. Don't play around, tough guy. Just looking at you makes me mad. Mature. I'll kill you. The two of them rush him at lightning speed and was ready to punch him, but he intercepted them before they could hit him and the impact caused an explosion. Deku. Thought. So I am guessing Rugal wasn't the only one who went through experimentation and modifications. These two must have had quirks added to them through experimentation. Mature. I'll take everything from you. Vice. Hurry up and kill me. Deku. Gladly. The three of them started moving extremely fast and started exchanging blows with each other. Mature and Vice tried to land an attack on him, but he just parried and dodged all of them without breaking a sweat. He lands slightly farther than them and just looks at them. Mature decides to attack first this time. Mature. Now fall. Deicide. Mature swings an arm towards him that stretches like a wire and attempts to grab his leg. But he saw through her and jumps before it grabs his leg. Vice. Ravenous. Just as he was jumping, Vice was charging towards him in the air and sending a barrage of kicks. But he noticed right before he jumped. Deku. Deagles. 2 Desert Eagle forms out of Izuku's hands and he aims it at Vice and fires at her. Vice reacts and kicks the bullets to defend herself. But before he could land back, Mature attacks again. Mature. Split open. Ebony tears. Mature rears back with both arms raised upwards and clenched together, then does a massive 2-handed swipe downwards which releases a giant arc projectile of energy. Deku. Daggers. Deku creates daggers out of thin air and he throws it which intercepts Mature's attack. Some of the daggers got past the attack and were able to graze her. But as he did that, Vice was right behind him. Vice. Death blow. Vice attempts to grab him by neck, but he noticed it earlier and grabs both of her arms and throws her towards Mature. As he was slowly landing, he finally analyzed their fighting patterns. Deku. Thought. Mature relies on speed. Her added quirks allow her to move swiftly and grab opponents quickly. Vice on the other hand relies on power-type attacks. Judging from how she easily parried Desert Eagle bullets at close range, her other quirks must make her twice as powerful. Analysis complete. Now time to put them to rest. Daggers. As he landed, he summoned 2 daggers on both of his hands and charged towards the both of them. Vice. Head on. Huh. Bring it. Deku jumps up readying to attack the both of them. Mature. Sacrilege. Mature leaps forward while spinning, with one clawed hand extended upwards and the other at waist level. She tried to intercept him, but he teleports in a flash of light to Mature's back and aims to attack Vice. Vice. Come here, boy. Monstrosity. Vice charges towards him and does an overhead hammer strike with the bottom of her fist. Deku intercepts and blocks it using his daggers. Mature. This is it. Nocturnal lights. Mature charges towards Deku in an attempt to attack him with a bunch of scratch attacks. But little did she know, she fell for a trap. Deku. Rest. Shadowblade slaughter. His dagger suddenly glows bright as he pushes Vice back and sends her flying. At the same time he spins around and sends a 5 lightning speed daggers towards Mature. She looked wide-eyed at the attack and she couldn't react in time. She gets stabbed in multiple area of her body. Mature. Ack. A dagger precisely stabbed through her head. Her body goes limp as she falls dead on the ground with blood leaking out from her wounds. Vice. Mature. Glares at Deku. Chew on this. He just stood there with shadows covering his eyes as Vice charges at him. He then looks up at her. Deku. Goodbye, Vice. Ack. All of the 4 daggers that he used to attack Mature rush back towards him and impales Vice right in the neck. She falls down to the floor holding her bleeding neck and struggling to breath. Vice. Struggling. How? Deku. My sensei was faster than the both of you. Vice. Struggling to breath. Damn you. I'm gonna take you down with me. She stood up weakly and charged at him with the remaining strength she had. But, Deku. Rest. The 5th dagger returned to him and impaled through Vice's head. Her body goes limp and falls face first on the floor as the 5th dagger returns to Deku. Music pause. He swipes the blood of his daggers and contacts Charles. Deku. Charlie, where's Rugal at? Charles. He's at floor 69, hee nice. Also the leader and his family's held in there along with a couple of other civilians. Though I suggest you take the stairs, since the elevators will be trouble for you. Deku. Right, Charles. Although there's nearly 1,000 guards in that tower and are rushing you, but I know you'll enjoy this. Good luck there. Me, Henry and Ellie will deal with those outside. By the way, guards will be coming for you in a few seconds. Deku. Copy that. Good luck out there. He cuts off communications and all of a sudden guards start coming in the door. They looked wide-eyed as they saw the dead bodies of Vice and Mature on the floor and Deku facing behind them. Guard number 1. Vice-sama. Mature-sama. Deku turns around to face them with a dull look. Deku. All that's left is a little cleanup before the final boss. Guard number 2. Grit's teeth bastard. Get him. All of a sudden guards started to charge towards him with their quirks ready. Guard. Number 1. You think you can win against our numbers? Continue music at 144. All of a sudden, Deku readies his hands and swiftly moves through the horde of guards in the blink of an eye. An explosion happens within the horde of guards. As the smoke clears, the guards were laying dead on the ground with cracked skulls and broken spines. He looks at them over his shoulder. Deku. Bunch of extra punching bags. And there's 68 floors of them. Chuckles, this will be one hell of a warm-up and training. He continues running to where the stairs are and finds a bunch of guards running down towards him. Guard. Number 1. Intruder. Get him. They blast him with ranged-type attacks. Deku tilts his head and narrows his eyes, which are filled with bloodlust. Deku. New targets acquired. Must be eliminated. He then rushes towards them and starts massacring them easily at a very fast pace. He kills them with his brute strength easily. He uses their own quirks and weapons to his own advantage and slashes through them with ease. A few moments later he reaches floor 24. He then sees that the door was blocked and sealed by the building's blast doors. Deku. The blast doors here are comparable to Tartarus, so I can't burst through it easily. He then narrows his eyes as they start to glow along with his body. Deku. Solar leap. All of a sudden, in a burst of light, he disappears in the blink of an eye and reappears outside the tower, flying towards floor 25. He looked down to see Henry and Ellie handling other guards and saving the civilians. Deku. At least they're doing fine down there. But these guys won't be so lucky. Dagger. A dagger appears on his right hand and he breaks through the window, surprising the guards. But before they could react, he continues to unleash an onslaught of attacks on the guards using his strength and dagger on his hand. A few moments later he reaches the 50th floor. And this time he sees a bunch of guards wielding swords, so he lets his dagger disappears. Deku. I see all of you are swordsmen. So is a swordsman courtesy. He suddenly unsheathes his katana and gets into a stance with the blade over his shoulder. Deku. I'll sentence you all to death using my blade. The guards all charge at him, trying to attack him. The first one tried to slash him, but he slides under him and slashes him in the spinal area. As more of them start to charge at him, he swiftly dodges and kills them with ease. He was moving as if he was dancing. As he continues his onslaught on the guards using his blade, he finally arrives at the last floor. He sees the last of the guards charge at him, but he then summons 5 daggers in his hands. All of a sudden he disappears. Guard number 1. Huh. Where did he? Deku. Rest. He appears behind all of them and throws the daggers, which precisely hit their heads. He calls his daggers back as it impales the guards one more time in the heart as they go limp and fall dead on the floor with blood leaking from their head and heart. Stop music at 2:34. He walks towards the end of the hall where a large door was placed. He opens the door and he finds himself in a spacious room that looked like he was walking down a castle. There was red carpet that was leading to a throne with pillars by the side of it. A bunch of jail cells were placed at the sides of the room along with a bunch of creepy human statues. But the throne had a male individual sitting on it. He has a suit on with a red coat and red pants. It was none other than America's #1 villain and leader of Black Noah, Rugal Bernstein. Deku walks in the room and sees the family of the island's owner along with him and a bunch of others. As they lay their eyes on him, they started shaking in fear more. Scared T, the Reaper's apprentice. Scared W, what's he doing here? Deku sighs and ignores it as he walks forward towards Rugal. He was in the middle of the room and looked directly at Rugal. Deku. Rugal Bernstein. Rugal. Chuckles, long time no see, Reaper's apprentice. I have been expecting you. Welcome to my domain. Deku looks around and sees the creepy-looking human statues all around the room. Deku. Yikes, you have bad taste. Has it gotten worse ever since our last fight? Rugal stood up from his throne and walks towards one of the statues. He caresses the chin of the statues as he looks at Deku. Rugal. These are the most perfect pieces of art in the world. You could never understand their value. Just like the sun can never comprehend the depth of darkness at night. Chuckles, but it doesn't matter, you'll be a part of these pieces soon. Deku throws a dagger towards the statue's head. The impact causes the head to fall and crack on the floor. The crack revealed something morbid from the inside. The inside showed a pale dead human head along with its lifeless eyes. Deku narrows his eyes. You're sick. Rugal. You're the one to talk. You've killed over thousands in cold blood. Deku. I kill those who deserve it and to save the lives of those who can't protect themselves. I don't kill for the pleasure unlike you. You've killed 50 people back then in Brazil along with the general's family. Rugal then starts walking towards the head and picks it up with his robotic arm. Rugal. Ever since I nearly got killed to you, I vowed to become more stronger and achieve my lifelong dream to be immortal and the strongest being on earth. Deku. Even if it means sacrificing your own humanity. Rugal. Chuckles of course. I used millions and billions of dollars for repairing the amount of injuries you gave me along with upgrades and new quirks. I traveled around the world recruiting soldiers who dedicate their loyalty to me and fight opponents who I deem worthy for my collection. And through that, I have achieved the name R and the rank of America's #1 villain. But that isn't enough for me. I desire to achieve the world's #1 rank, just like you, the world's #1 assassin. After I kill you, and get enough money, I'll continue to construct my empire. I'll take over Asia, America and all the other continents. And I'll kill every single last one who dare to oppose me, then nothing can ever stop me from being the strongest man in the world. He then crushes the head with his robotic hand with ease and drops it to the floor. Rugal. And it all starts with you, the Reaper's apprentice, the world's #1 assassin. You'll be the star of my collection. But as an old enemy, I do have a proposition for someone like you. Deku. Raises an eyebrow. Rugal, join me. Deku. Let me just ask, you're not serious, are you? Rugal. He. What if I told you I am? Me and you working together, nothing can stop us. You'll stand by my side as we become the strongest in the world. To prove it, kill them all. He points to the prisoners who started to shake in fear even more to the point they started crying in fear. Rugal. Kill them and join me. Refuse, you'll be dying in their place. Deku glances at the prisoners. Then he slowly starts to walk towards them readying his katana. They started shaking in fear more and backed up to the wall while Rugal smiles insanely. But his smile turned to shock when he saw him slash the gates open in a single swing. And all of a sudden a dagger was thrown at his head and he falls to the ground. Deku. Does any of you know how to fight? The leader raises his hand along with a few others. He then starts creating weapons for them like swords, shields and guns and gives it to them. Deku. Take these weapons and take your families out of here. Use these weapons to defend yourselves. The others were hesitating but all of a sudden, Rugal's body started to move again. Deku. Go, I'll cover you. Take your families and get out now while you still can. Mark. Alright, thank you. Everybody let's go. Everyone starts to leave but the daughter of the leader looked at Deku, before running over to him and hugged him, making him surprised. Thank you, mister. He hugs her back and comforts her. Deku. Don't mention it, kid. Now go, your father's waiting for you. The girl nods and starts running towards her father who was waiting for her. She jumps on her father as he carries her. Good luck, mister. He looks back at her and smirks from the inside of his mask. He also does a peace sign while holding his katana. Deku. Stay strong, kid. The father silently says, thank you, from his mouth and starts to run away with his daughter to catch up with the others. He puts his blade back in the sheath and looks at Rugal who stood up and removed the dagger that didn't actually kill him. Deku. So you aren't actually dead yet, huh? Rugal. Laughs. Ever since our last encounter, I have gotten to a lot of modifications. Your pesky daggers are completely useless to me. I'm still surprised that you didn't kill them. Deku. Like I said earlier, I am not like you. I despise people like you and are the main reason why I kill shitbags like you. All of a sudden a red energy orb comes out of Rugal's left hand. Rugal. Chuckles. Well, for me, the more I kill, the more sacred the act of killing becomes. Deku got ready for what was coming since the aura he was feeling from him was stronger than before. It felt overwhelming. Rugal. Reppuken. All of a sudden he throws out a grounded red energy projectile with his rear left hand towards him. Deku. Double solar gale fist. Deku immediately reacts and swipes his both hands forward consecutively and creates a gust of solar winds that travels across the floor. The attack intercepts Rugal's and caused smoke to cover the area. Deku. Thought, Gisa's Reppuken. He saw Rugal charging blue energy balls from both his hands. Rugal. Kaiser Wave. He then combines the two orbs and releases it as a large projectile towards him. Deku unsheathes his katana and coats it with light. He then slashes the projectile in half as it hits the walls behind him and destroy it. Deku thought, even Krauser's Kaiser Wave. He's learned more moves than before, and who knows what quirks he has right now. I got to play this safe and find a weak point. Rugal, it's a shame that you won't join me, but you'll be a very fine addition to my collection. Deku, even if I did, you'd still kill me. That was a really bad joke, huh? Rugal, hee hee hee, biwahahaha. Yes, it is. You know what else is a bad joke? Geese and that idiot Krauser losing to a mongrel like you. Deku chuckles, this mongrel is going to be the one to send you to the kingdom come. Rugal, my past was just my prelude. Haha, how was my prelude? If you like it then it's my pleasure. But I'm not looking to impress you with just that prelude. It was played when I wasn't showing my true ability. If you can feel my hidden power through this song and be afraid, that's good. Show me what you can really do as someone who gave me a reason to get serious. All of a sudden, a purple aura surrounds his entire body. He then grabs his whole coat and rips it apart in a burst of energy, leaving him in only his red shorts and boots. His entire body of muscles was shown and fully revealing his robotic right arm. Rugal, I will fully test the power I was given. I will use it all on you. Then I'll give you instead the honor of joining my army of human weapons after I defeat you. Rugal gets into a stance as Deku does the same. Deku, I got here through my own strength. I didn't rely on ongoing experimentations to get stronger like you. Rugal, haha, I enjoy your optimism, but how long do you think it will last? There are flowers that bloom after death. Yours will bloom beautifully in my garden. Ahahaha. Now, let's begin our final battle. Music start. Deku unsheathes his katana and charges towards Rugal to attack him. But Rugal swiftly dodges his attack by jumping up. Rugal, double tomahawk. Rugal charges in and goes for Deku's kneecaps, but he backflips to dodge. Deku, shadow blade slaughter. Deku summons 5 daggers on his hands and throws it towards Rugal. But he swiftly dodges the attack and the daggers stick to the wall. Target on my back, lone survivor lasts. Rugal rushes towards Deku with his legs glowing. Rugal, die. Genocide cutter. He moves his right leg in an upward arch to hit Deku and follow it up with another upward kick from his left leg. But Deku managed to backflip it to dodge his attack, which barely grazed his face. Deku, Deagle. He summons a desert eagle from his hand and shoots Rugal's legs as he dodges. But to his surprise, the bullets bounced off. They got me in their sights. Deku thought, so even bullets don't work on him, huh? Let me try something. Flash fist. Deku engulfs his left fist in yellow light while holding a mini yellow star. He vanishes and moves swiftly behind Rugal to punch him. But Rugal swiftly dodges in a bow, like he was taunting him. No surrender, no trigger fingers go, living the dangerous life. Rugal, Ramigo Hanage. Rugal was about to grab Deku's neck when he flailed his arms in defense. He landed back up on his feet and was staring at Rugal. Deku thought, even his reaction speed has doubled since the last time. It must be a quirk or has something to do with his bionic eye, because I didn't even release any killing intent. I just need to find a weak spot on him and exploit it. Rugal, haha, have you gotten weaker since our last battle? Are you scared? Deku, nope, I'm barely even warmed up. Izuku unsheathes his katana again and charges toward Rugal. Hey, every day when I wake. Rugal, double Shippuden X. Rugal throws out a bunch of energy projectiles in the air trying to reach Deku. But he swiftly dodges all of it and jumps up very high. Deku, Hikari no Shiki, Meteor Strike. Deku's katana glows as he charges back down towards Rugal, readying to attack him. But Rugal's robotic glove switches to a blade and clashes with him. The impact created a massive explosion. I'm trying to get up. They're knocking me down, chewing me up, spitting me out. The both of them maintained in the clash, staring into each other's eyes. Their continued clash continued to release a massive amount of pressure. Deku thought, so his glove is polymorphic. He can shift it to anything he wants. His strength has also doubled since the last time we fought. Rugal, kahahe, is that all you have? Bring it on. Rugal tries to push him back, but Deku purposely does so. He gets sent flying and is spinning around. Rugal. Blitz Ball X. Rugal punches the air twice and sends 2 large fire balls towards Deku. Deku immediately reacts and throws 5 daggers to intercept it. The impact causes an explosion that causes the daggers to stick to the walls around the room. Hey, when I need to be saved, you're making me strong, you're making me stand, never will fall, never will end. Deku lands back on the ground and stares at Rugal, who stares at him with a smirk. He fakes himself to looking extremely exhausted by sitting on one knee. Deku thought, he has so many quirks and resistances which perfectly counter me. He's even using moves from Geese and Krauser's moveset. Who knows what other tricks or moves has he got up his sleeve? I have to use more of my power and try to find his weakness. Maybe I can use his pride to his advantage. Deku stood up and charged towards Rugal in the blink of an eye. The two of them were in a grapple crash, holding each other in place. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing could stop me tonight. Rugal. Ah, are you tired already? Have you gotten weaker all this time? Izuku. Nope, the real battle's just starting now. Rugal. Fine, then bring it on for real. Both of them let go and move back a bit as both of them start to glow. You make me feel invincible, earthquake, powerful. Rugal surrounds himself in a purple aura. Rugal. God press. Rugal charges extremely fast towards Deku with purple aura surrounding him. Deku on the other hand started to glow white and his eyes glowed green. Deku. Charging star. As in the blink of an eye he also disappears and charged towards Rugal surrounded by white aura. The both of them clash in the middle part of the room as their aura was growing stronger. Just like a tidal wave, you make me brave. The two of them continue to clash, trying to overwhelm each other. The two of them staring to each other's eyes, both trying to overpower the other. A few seconds later they both stop and separate, standing a bit further away in a fighting stance. You're my titanium. Fight song, raising up. Rugal then started to charge towards him, readying his robotic hand to grab him. Rugal. Gigantic pressure. His glove starts to glow red as he charges toward him. Deku does the same, but as Rugal was about to grab him. Deku. Hard Nova Edge. Deku intercepts him as he glows white and hits him with his right elbow in the gut, then follows up immediately with a golden light-powered fist, sending Rugal back. Like the roar of victory in a stadium, who can touch me 'cause I'm. Rugal got pushed back a bit but immediately recovers as his body starts to have electricity surrounding him as multiple electrical antennas pop out of his back. Rugal. Kaiser Phoenix level 2. He then releases a barrage of Kaiser Phoenixes towards Deku along with a bunch black electricity orbs. Deku notices and summons a Desert Eagle in his hands. Deku. Light Infusion. Devil's Seal module. His Desert Eagle changes to black with some parts glowing red on it. I'm made of fire. He fires 2 bullets at the 2 first blasts directed at him, causing it to explode. Who can stop me tonight? He fires more bullets and intercepts all of the blast and they explode. But he only had 1 bullet left in the chamber. I'm hard-wired, you make me feel. Rugal releases 1 more powerful blast towards Deku as Deku aims his pistol at the center of the blast. Invincible. Deku pulls the trigger and the blast destroys the blast and penetrates Rugal's arm. The impact of the bullet on Rugal's arm causes him to stagger a bit as the blast also causes the entire room to be filled with smoke. I feel it, invincible. As Rugal staggers a bit he looks around the area and tries to find where he is. Rugal. Come out wherever you are. He was interrupted by a punch to the stomach. The impact of the punch caused the smoke to subside to reveal Deku punched his stomach. Izuku. Crack shoot. Deku them jumps, doing a front flip with his leg extended, and hits the opponent with his heel, causing Rugal to fall face flat on the floor. I feel it, invincible. Deku backflips away spinning and lands a few feet away from Rugal. Rugal stood back up on his feet. But he had a smirk on his face. Rugal. K-ha-ha. There it is. The person who made me go serious. Deku just stood there narrowing his eyes unamused. Rugal. Give me more. I will seize that power of yours. Let's go beyond that and take your life, too. Rugal charges towards Deku as he stood there waiting for what he'll do next. Here we go again. I will not give in, I've got a reason to fight. Rugal charges towards Deku with both his hands glowing with black electricity. Rugal. Ken. Rugal attempts to hit Deku with his two palms. But Deku saw through it and rushed at the same time as him, but from a lower position. When he was close to Rugal, Deku. Falling star kick. His right arm glows and he uppercuts Rugal on the head. He then jumps up and follows with a glowing falling kick, causing Rugal to slightly stagger. Every day we choose, we might win or lose, this is the dangerous life. But Rugal immediately recovers and spins both his hands around and it glows with white energy. Rugal. Rashomon. Rugal then strikes Deku with two of his palms that sent him flying. He managed to block the attack by crossing his arms. Rugal's right hand then starts to radiate black electricity again. Rugal. Reigo Reppuken. Rugal sends a pillar of black electricity towards Deku. All of a sudden blue glowing shards appear from his right arm. Deku. Soul Shard Defense. The shards separate and spin in a giant circle and block the entire attack. Deku lands back on the ground and the shards disappear. Rugal. Now, have a look at my true power. Die. Rugal charges towards Deku as Deku also does the same. Hey, every day when I wake, they say that I'm gone. They say that they've won, the bell has been rung, it's over and done. Rugal and Deku both charge at each other with their fists glowing. Rugal. Destruction Omega. Deku. Starlight Barrage. Rugal and Deku then started exchanging blows with each other, with each blow causing shockwaves to be felt around the tower. With each punch their attacks got faster and more powerful. Deku swiftly deflected all of Rugal's attacks and countered them with double power. But as the fight was going, Deku was going for a powerful punch. But Rugal suddenly disappeared and appeared behind him, readying to punch him. Rugal. Die. But as he was about to punch him, Deku noticed and engulfs his fist in golden light while holding a mini star. Deku. Neutron Fist. And he punches Rugal in the face with sheer force, sending him flying back. Hey, when I need to be saved, they're counting me out, but this is my round, you in my corner, look at me now. As Rugal was flying, Deku summons 5 daggers on his hands again. Deku. Shadowblade Slaughter. Deku launches 5 daggers towards Rugal, but he immediately recovers and his arms suddenly glow purple. Rugal. Raging Storm. Rugal thrusts his hands into the ground, creating a purple barrier of energy in front or around him. The barrier deflected all the daggers, launching them around the room. Deku then readied his blade and charged towards Rugal, but he suddenly readied his fist, and did a move that shocked him. Rugal. Texas Smash. Rugal throws a right punch with a powerful wind pressure, sending Deku flying towards the wall. Before Deku could react, he uses another familiar move as he summons flames from his robotic hand. Rugal. Ignited Arrow. He then shapes his flames into a harpoon-like arrow and throws it forcefully towards Deku. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing could stop me tonight. But Deku got back up on his feet like nothing happened and slashed the arrow in half. Deku. Narrows his eyes, so he even knows Uncle Toshi and Uncle Enji's moves. Alright, all I have to do is overpower him. He must have a drawback for using too much quirks like that. I just need to keep pushing him over the edge until I find it. Let me test something. Rugal then starts emitting a powerful purple aura that was stronger than before while Deku stood there and remained unfazed. Rugal. My power shall be burnt into your eyes. You make me feel invincible, earthquake, powerful, just like a tidal wave, you make me brave. Rugal. Daichi wo Harau Guka. Rugal surrounds himself with a purple aura of flames in a form of a ball and charges towards Deku at extremely high speed. Deku's fist starts to light up as well in both black and white color and he jumps up. Deku. Twilight Overdrive. Deku disappears in the blink of an eye to intercept Rugal's attack and the two clash in midair. Rugal. Die. Rugal pushes Deku back and the two stare at each other. Before a few seconds later the two of them clashed again and continued to attack each other in inhuman speeds. Rugal continued to punch him consecutively while Deku counters it. The both of them continued moving and attacking faster with Rugal chasing Deku. You're my titanium. Fight song, raising up. The both of them stop clashing and separate from each other and stand further away from each other. Rugal's robotic arm engulfs in hot flames and uses another familiar attack. Rugal. Flashfire Fist. Rugal's raises the fire's temperature to a high level and maximizes his power. Then he charges at insane speed towards Deku. Deku on the other hand. Deku. Flash Fist. Deku engulfs his left fist in yellow light while holding a mini yellow star, and then he charges towards Rugal with insane speed from a lower angle. The two of them then meet, clashing. Like the roar of victory in a stadium. They both of them continue to maintain in that position until the two of them ready their other fist. With Rugal's having wind while Deku having engulfs his fist in golden light while holding a mini star. Rugal. Detroit Smash. Deku. Neutron Fist. They both connect their fists and it caused a massive shockwave throughout the island that it even caused waves to move. The impact also caused bright light to engulf the area. A few seconds later, the recoil of the punch pushed them both apart. Deku noticed that Rugal flinched and twitching a bit when he did that. The two of them recovered as Rugal's glove formed a blade as Izuku unsheathes his katana as the both of them got into a stance. Who can touch me, cause I'm made of fire. The both of them charge at each other with their blades ready and clash in the middle. Deku tries to slash him, but Rugal parries his attacks. Deku moves back and twirls his sword, then gets into another stance before he charged again at Rugal. Rugal tried to parry, but the impact of the attack sent Rugal flying backwards. Deku then charges as he was sent flying, clashes with Rugal again. Who can stop me tonight? The two of them continued to clash with their speed and power increasing to the point that each clash causes a shockwave. I'm hardwired. The both of them keep speeding up and getting powerful with each clash of their blade, while moving across the room. You make me feel. The last clash pushed each of them back as Rugal retracted his blade and had black lightning being emitted from his body. Rugal. Gravity Smash. Rugal releases a black electric orb flying towards Deku, who immediately readies his blade. Invincible. Deku. Itoryu. Yakodori. Deku launches a crescent moon-like projectile of compressed air from his sword to the orb with great speed. He sheathes his sword back again. Deku. Daggers. Deku summons two daggers from his hands and charges towards Rugal. I feel it, invincible. Rugal's arms get engulfed with purple flames as he also charges towards Deku and clashes with him in the middle. I feel it, invincible. The two of them continued the clash when Deku jumped up and summoned 4 more daggers on his hands. Deku. Shadowblade Slaughter. Twofold. Rugal then raised his arm out. Rugal. Dark Barrier. He summons a dark green energy barrier from his hands that deflected all the daggers across the room. Rugal throws both of his fists back while concentrating all of his flames into a single point. Instrumental. Rugal. Hell's Curtain. He then throws his arms forward, throwing a massive blanket of flames onto Deku. But Deku immediately reacts. Deku. Daggers. He summons daggers on both of his hands and puts it in front of him to block the flames. The flame stops as he drops his daggers on the ground. Antennas appear out of Rugal's back again as it charges up. Rugal. Kaiser Phoenix. Level 4. Rugal releases a bunch Kaiser waves and gravity smashes towards Deku. The change is that the color of the Kaiser waves are purple and it's twice as faster as before. Deku on the other hand, unsheathes and twirls his blade before it lands on his shoulder and glows. Deku. Hikari no Shiki. Dancing Sunflower Rush. Deku rushes forward and somersaults multiple times as he swiftly deflects all incoming blasts from Rugal. With each of Rugal's attacks getting stronger, he counters that by each swing and movement to increase his blade's power because of the momentum. Rugal fires the final blast as Deku then jumps behind him and attempts to strike him, only for Rugal to block it with his metal hand in sword mode. But then, Deku. Return. Deku summons the 2 daggers he dropped towards Rugal's back. He was expecting Rugal to block it with his dark barrier, but to his surprise. Rugal. Ack. The daggers stabbed him right in the back as Rugal then pushes Deku back. Deku sits on one knee and notices that his body starts flinching and shaking a bit. Rugal. What? Deku. Smirks. I knew it. He may have a lot of quirks and a lot of moves, but his body can only use one ability at a time. That's the drawback of his powers, he can't deal with 2 or more targets at the same time. So that's why when he used Uncle Tashi's Detroit Smash while using Uncle Enji's Flashfire Fist, he was spasming, his mechanical body can't handle the strain. His body's shock absorption weakens as he uses more energy. And I finally understand his fighting counters. Now I can finally finish him, once and for all. Rugal finally removes the daggers from his body and goes back to normal. Rugal, you still want to fight me when that's all you got? Just give up so I don't have to waste my energy anymore. You make me feel invincible. Deku stood up looking at him. Deku chuckles, not really. I now grasp your fighting pattern. Rugal, what? You make me feel invincible. Deku, I've been using a variety of moves in our fight earlier, just to test how you attack, how you counter-attack and weaknesses. He then got into a fighting stance looking more serious than ever. Deku, now I'm ready. Shot like a rocket up into the sky. Rugal scoffs and gets into a stance. How can you fight me when that's all you got? You bore me. Deku, when did I show you all I've got? I was still holding back, a lot. Not gonna stop. Rugal, huh. All of a sudden, Deku's eyes glow green, making him look more intense. Deku, you're dead, fool. Invincible. In the blink of an eye, Deku disappears from his spot, which he left a large crater on it. He then appears behind Rugal. Deku, eliminate. You make me feel invincible. Rugal looks behind him to see Deku readying to punch him. Deku, Starfist Barrage. He unleashes consecutive powerful blows towards Rugal. But Rugal jumps and backflips to dodge it. Well, he thinks he is. Earthquake. Powerful. Deku, Rising Star Tackle. Deku immediately flips onto his arms and propels himself upward, performing an upward corkscrew kick on Rugal. Rugal, what? Just like a tidal wave. Deku stops spinning and is airborne with Rugal under him. Deku engulfs his fist in golden light while holding a mini star. Deku, Neutron Dunk. He slams a fist onto Rugal's chest and sends him flying down to the ground. You make me brave. Before even giving a chance for Rugal to react, multiple light appear over his head. Deku, Orbs of Enlightenment. Deku fires a copious amount of light orbs towards Rugal. You're my titanium. As Rugal lands on the ground, the orbs hit him, causing a lot of damage and a tiny explosion. He finally gets back up to see his body have a lot of injuries. Rugal, no, no way. I refuse to lose to you. Fight song. Raising up. Deku, Helios Kick. Deku charges back to the ground with his leg glowing in an attempt to kick Rugal, but Rugal reacts and backflips as he lands on the ground. Rugal's arms get engulfed with energy. Rugal, Double Reppuken. Like a roar of victory in a stadium, Rugal releases two grounded red energy projectile with his rear left and right hand towards Deku. But Deku immediately reacts and charges towards him and jumps as he extends out his two arms. Deku, Deagles plus Light Infusion. Double Devil's Seal Module. Both of his Desert Eagles changes to black and started gaining red glowing marks around it. You make me feel invincible. Deku continues to charge towards him, shooting from his Desert Eagle as Rugal charged energy from both of his hands and he jumped. Rugal, Double Shippuden X. Rugal throws out a bunch of energy projectiles in the air, countering the 12 bullets Deku fired. Deku places the Deagles back in his pocket as he felt one bullet left in the chamber. Earthquake. Powerful. Rugal disappears in the blink of an eye as Deku extends out his arm looking like he was summoning an item. Rugal appears behind his back with his robotic hand radiating green flames. Rugal, Omega Executio. Rugal was cut off when suddenly. Deku, Hard Nova Edge. Deku intercepts him as he glows white and hits him with his right elbow in the face, then follows up immediately with a golden light-powered fist on the gut with sheer force that sends Rugal flying. Just like a tidal wave, you make me brave. Rugal gets back on his feet as antennas pop out of his back as he charges up energy again. Rugal, Kaiser Wave Max. Rugal charges up a big energy blast from his arms and was about to release it when Deku, Cross Chop. Deku intercepted him with his daggers in a cross formation which hit the energy ball he was charging. The impact caused an explosion, sending Rugal back. You're my titanium. Fight song. Raising up. Rugal was sitting on one knee and was struggling to get up as sparks were coming out of his body. Deku doesn't want to give him any time to recover, so he charges towards him and jumps. But Rugal became prepared and raised his left hand. Rugal, Dark Barrier. He summons a dark green energy barrier from his hand. Deku's body suddenly got surrounded by a white aura. Deku. Crashing star. Deku charged down towards Rugal and hit his barrier. The barrier broke from impact, which caused smoke to engulf the area as Deku was sent spinning backwards. Like the roar of victory in a stadium, Rugal finally was able to recover and get back on his feet and was charging energy from his hands. Rugal. Kaiser Phoenix Max. Rugal sends a barrage of energy blasts towards Deku, but they were much stronger and destructive than before. But Deku instead charges and even kicks one of his blasts away as he continues to charge towards him. Who can touch me, cause I'm. As Deku kept dodging, he suddenly pulled the deagles from earlier out of his pocket and jumps upwards. I'm made of fire. Deku pulls the triggers on both of the guns as it fires 2 bullets towards Rugal. The bullets penetrate both of Rugal's shoulders and Rugal. Arg. The impact dislocates both of his arms as it both gets sent flying with blood falling to the floor and getting sprayed everywhere that are coming out of his body and arms. Who can stop me tonight? Deku lands back down and unsheathes his katana. He then charges towards Rugal while extending his hands. Deku. Return. The daggers he's been throwing before that are on the wall suddenly glowed. I'm hard-wired. Rugal looks at both of his directions, to see Deku charging towards him and see the daggers slowly about to hit him. Rugal. I am possible. Deku. It's over, Rugal. Your time is up and your sins are judged. You make me feel. As Deku and the daggers get nearer, his blade suddenly glows. Rugal's bionic eye starts glitching more but is able to see and hear the last words of his killer. Deku. I sentence you. His glitching eye could clearly see the deep green piercing eyes of his killer and hear his words clearly. Deku. To death. Invincible. Deku slashes Rugal's body in half as the daggers pierce his upper torso's heart and body. Blood was raining down all over his body as Rugal's body leaked out blood from it. His blade was also covered in blood. I feel it, invincible. Deku takes his blade and swipes it on his elbow to clean the blood off of it. I feel it. Deku looks behind him to see the lifeless severed body of Rugal. His top and bottom were leaking from blood, his mouth had blood coming out of it as his eyes were still opened wide and tearing out blood. He closes his eyes and spins his sword around. Invincible. Before sliding it back onto its sheath as he opens his eyes again. Deku. Target. Eliminated. Mission. Accomplished. Music end. No one's paw. Deku. I got him, Charlie. Put up the signal and call in reinforcements. Charles was inside his helicopter and was controlling the dummy-linked clones that are helping Henry and Ellie deal with the villains outside. They were still over 1,000 soldiers out there that they were dealing. But hearing that Rugal's defeated brings good news to finally strike. Charles. Alright, time to call in the reinforcements and put up the signal. Charles presses his communicator to call General Galaforce. Charles. General, Deku got Rugal and security system has been disabled. Calling in reinforcements. Galaforce. Excellent news. I knew you four could pull it off. You four really do make a fine team. Sound up the signal. We've already dispatched an hour ago and we'll be there before you know it, like 3 minutes. Charles. Roger that, General. As Henry and Ellie were still fighting some of the guards outside. Henry was using his nano suit and Ellie was using the Force. As they were still fighting, they suddenly heard the alarm from outside and saw a bunch of military helicopters coming towards them from afar. Henry and Ellie smirk when all of a sudden they hear Charles's voice. Charles's voice. Attention all members of Black Noah. Your leader has been killed. Surrender now. At that moment, the top of the tower detonated. It sent everything flying and blowing up. In between Henry, Ellie and some of the guards, Rugal's robotic arm landed in between them, all smoked and dented. The guards all look in fear realizing it was all true. Guard number 1. R. Rugal-sama. Guard number 2. W. What do we do? Guard number 3. Yo, we is needin' like a new bossman. Guard number 4. Come on, man. I'll lead us through this. Guard number 5. No. I will. Henry and Ellie just continue to watch them with a sweat drop as the guards all argue with each other. Ellie. They act like a bunch of kids without their master. Henry. Do you ever get that feeling of deja vu? Ellie. Sometimes. Why you asked? Henry. Never mind. At least we can finally get out of this hellhole. Ellie. Yeah, I'm beat. Ellie closes her eyes, rests her head on Henry's shoulder as the latter smiles and pats her head and kisses her forehead, making her smile. Time skip. A few minutes later, the government finally arrived and apprehended the members of Black Noah. Many of the members surrendered while some tried to escape but failed to do so. Over 1,000 soldiers were arrested that night and are being hauled up and taken to prison. Meanwhile, over 2,000 dead bodies of innocent individuals who died are also being hauled off to receive a proper burial at their home countries. But those who were part of the villains are being taken as well to be cremated. Meanwhile, the survivors are also being treated and picked up to take them back to their home countries. Those who live on the island are being given temporary homes in America until the island has been fully repaired, clean and brought back to its former glory. As more soldiers are arresting more of the groups. Conrad. We got another group here that surrendered. Calvin. Yeah, got another here too. Let's take them back. General Galaforce was with Henry, Ellie and Charles and are talking with the owner of the island. Mark. Thank you, General, for saving us. Galaforce. You shouldn't be thanking me. You should thank these three right here. They did all the work. Mark. Thank you, for saving us. Henry. No prob. Ellie. It was nothing. Charles. It's just what we do best. Galaforce. Though, it's a shame that this place is down for a while. Chuckles, I was actually planning to take a day off here. But not to worry, we'll help with the repairs and deal with all the fees to help the survivors and this place return back to its former glory. Mark. Thank you, I appreciate it. Daddy. Mark looks behind him to see his daughter jump towards him and hug him. He catches him and holds her as Galaforce chuckles. Galaforce. Chuckles kids. Looks behind you three, ever thinking finally tying the knot, laying back and having kids in your life. The three of them suddenly had a shade of red cover their face as Henry looks away. Charles rubs the back of her neck and Ellie cover her face. Ellie. Blushing me and Henry actually haven't talked about or agreed to anything about that, General. Charles. Blushing same with me. Me and Neo are sorta still in our dating phase. Galaforce. Chuckles all right then, but I won't be afraid to give you three a break when that happens, as long as you invite me to your weddings. The three of them blush more as General Galaforce just laughs at them. As his daughter suddenly asked him a question. Daddy, where's that man that saved us? Galaforce. Mark. Oh, I forgot to ask. Have you seen the Reaper's apprentice here? Galaforce. So it was Izuku who saved you, huh? I should have known from the amount of bodies from that tower. Galaforce looks behind him to see the three nod with a serious expression. Galaforce. Sighs internally, but just as the deal, we can't let villains or anyone know that you work with the government. Shocked, huh? He was here. Mark. Yeah, he saved us and went for Rugal. We would have been here without him. I want to see him and thank him personally. And also, does he work for you? Ellie. Me and Henry were actually surprised when we saw him. Henry. He must have went for Rugal to take his head for the bounty. Charles. Wait, who are we talking about? Henry and Ellie look at Charles with a bruh face as Charles looked surprised and shrugged. Charles. What? Galaforce. Sighs, well, if he did, I am grateful for him for saving you and helping us. But that doesn't change the fact that he's the world's #1 assassin. He's killed nearly 500,000 lives during his whole career. And no, he doesn't work for us. Mark. Well, he doesn't seem that bad for someone like him. I am still very thankful for him, though, and I'm sure everyone here is also thankful for his and your actions. Galaforce. Well, I am also thankful. But laws are laws and he needs to deal with the consequences of his actions. If you ever see him, report it to authorities immediately. Mark. Of course, General. Galaforce. But I think it's time for you to join your wife and son on the transport so we can finally get out of here. You and the rest of the evacuees will get temporary homes until we can fix this island and get the others back to their home country. Mark. Okay, General. Come on, Amaya. Amaya. Okay, Dad. Amaya and her father walk to one of the transport helicopters and sees her brother and mother being patched up. The family meet up and grouped hugged each other, just as the helicopter doors shut and started to take off. Galaforce looks back at the three. Galaforce. Well then, I guess the four of us better get going as well. I'll be riding with you three on your chopper, since the one I rode is full. We'll be celebrating later tonight. Charles. Alright, drinks. Ellie. Tell me about it, I haven't had one in a while now. Henry. The drinks back there were just plain horrible. Rugal and the millionaires got all the goodies. Ellie. I can't wait to sleep on a bed again. Henry chuckles. Same here. Galaforce. Well, let's hop to it then. The four of them then walk onto Charles's chopper and boarded it. Charles and Galaforce sat at the front while Ellie and Henry are going to be sitting. As Henry shut the door, he suddenly called out. Henry. Izuku, you can quit hiding, the coast is clear. Suddenly, by the back area of the chopper, black legs from a suit started to appear out of thin air. As the legs appear, light slowly climbs up revealing more of the body until it reached the head. It then reveals a round face, framed by a short mess of fluffy white hair which sticks up at odd angles around his head. He has a set of 4 symmetrical freckles in diamond formations, one on each cheek and green piercing eyes. His left eye had 2 scars running over it and one running down the left part of his mouth. It was none other than the real identity of the world's #1 assassin, or what they mostly call him, the Reaper's apprentice, Izuku Midoriya. The son of Agent Hisashi Midoriya and the student of the very first #1 assassin named the Reaper. He originally works for the Japanese government but was sent to the US government to help them with some of their missions. He primarily works as an assassin, but he also works as a spy, hitman, agent and bounty hunter. He's carrying a duffel bag and 3 body bags. Izuku. Hello there, Charles. General Kenobi. The two of them chuckle as Izuku drops the duffel bag and body bags on the floor. Galaforce. Izuku. Glad to see you made it safely. Excellent job back there. Thanks to you taking out Rugal, Mature and Vice, the members of Black Noah panicked. And they're all forced to surrender in the end. Izuku. Just doing my job, General. But I couldn't have done it without the others. Ellie. Ah, is the bad boy actually getting softer? Izuku. Rolls his eyes. Yeah. You know I am only soft to only a few people, so get used to it. By the way, chuckles. Nice acting back there, General. Galaforce. Chuckles. Thanks, it's just a way to keep you a state secret around the world. It was the agreement made when we asked for your help. As Izuku's the world's #1 assassin, most people think he's a cold-blooded killer that would kill anyone, making him feared by everyone. Well, in reality, he actually only targets anyone he deems as a villain and works with the government to investigate and take down high-value targets. He's considered a state secret and is never mentioned to be working with heroes or the government to keep up with the facade that he's a merciless cold-blooded serial killer on the hunt. Izuku. By the way, tosses a duffel bag towards the general. This might help you, General. Izuku tosses the duffel bag to Galaforce, who catches and opens it to find a USB drive along with multiple documents. Izuku. Contains Rugal's plans, people he's associated with, their info and location, secret hideout locations, and the info and locations about his clients to whom he sold the girls to and the scientist who he got his upgrades from. Galaforce. Excellent, we'll send in others to retrieve those girls to get them home and inform the Hero Commission about those hideouts and associates to deal with them. Thank you, Izuku, you really are a hero. Charles. He's right, why didn't you just go full pro hero? Izuku. Size, you know fate had other plans for me, Charles. An assassin was more of my calling than being a hero. Smiles sadly, and besides, there's no turning back from the path I chose. People already see me as a monster. Ellie. Yeah, but we know you aren't one. Henry. What they see is just you as an assassin from your training. Charles. While some of us know the real you, you're a nice guy who cares about the ones you're close to. Izuku. Chuckles. Thanks guys. But I am fine with this path I chose, because my heart knew it was right. And I got to meet people like you guys. The three of them smiles at his remark while he looked away scoffing. Izuku. Pretend you didn't hear that. Ellie. Aw, that's cute, the bad boy is actually a socially awkward Tsunere. Izuku. Gains a tick mark. The fuck you say. The three of them laugh as Izuku sighed and closed his eyes. Galaforce. Well, let's get going to rest up and celebrate. Charles. Alright, let's get going. The helicopter started to take off as Izuku sat on the floor to take a power nap. While Charles, Henry, Ellie and the general continued to chat with each other mostly about upcoming plans and maybe some outings, with the general mostly teasing Henry, Ellie and Charles about their dates. Secretly Izuku opens an eye and looks at them with a sad smile on his face, having a feeling of déjà vu, except he was with other people. He then remembered what the general said earlier. Galaforce. You three ever thinking finally tying the knot, laying back and having kids in your life? He then secretly pulls out a silver locket from inside his suit. It was a normal circle locket with designs on it, but its most distinct feature is a ruby in the middle of it. He opens the locket to a picture of Izuku and another girl smiling while sitting next to each other, with the girl laying her head on his shoulder while Izuku was laying his head over hers. Izuku. Sad smile. You would have wanted that too, right? Aim. He looked at the picture next to it to see a picture of him and his two younger siblings, Hotaru and Sora. The three of them were sitting under a tree and laying their heads on Izuku's shoulder, who was sleeping with a smile. Izuku. Smiling sadly. Hotaru. Sora. He then suddenly remembers his fight with Rugal earlier along with the other villains. He closes his necklace and clutches it while having a serious expression on his face. Izuku. Serious expression. Villains are getting even more stronger. I need to train more in order to protect those I care about while staying away from them. I've made a lot of enemies and it can harm those I am close to as long as I am around them. I need to master that, and I can be able to achieve new heights of strength. I need to keep getting stronger for the promise I made to her. He puts his locket back in his suit and closed his eyes to prepare himself for training later. Unknown to him, the other four were watching him and had a sad expression on their face. Henry. Sighs, he still hasn't moved on, huh? Ellie. Thought, he's younger than us and yet he's carrying a burden heavier than all three of us combined. Charles. Looks at him sadly, the guy's being called a monster for something he isn't. And he's internally suffering and not even asking others to help him and just dealing the problem on his own. Even if it means to suffer alone to protect others around him. Galaforce. Looks at him with pity, poor kid. He's already lost so much that he's afraid to lose more. All of a sudden, the general felt his phone vibrate in his pocket. He took it out and checked it to see that it was a message from Harem. Galaforce. Raised an eyebrow. General Harem. What does he want to talk about? The helicopter continues to fly back to America as General Galaforce gets suspicious of what Harem wants to talk about. Time skip. It was currently night in the United States, hours after the raid to retrieve South City. The government was able to provide the victims a temporary home at local hotels with fully paid services from the government. The government also sent the location of Rugal's hideouts to the Hero Commission so they can raid and arrest the villains. Over 2,500 villains were arrested and apprehended from those hideouts. The government also sent forces to rescue the girls that were sold from their clients. They were able to rescue the girls and take them back to their families, who were also helping them with rehabilitation from the seen and unseen events. 2,000 plus bodies of dead civilians were sent back to their countries to give them all a proper burial. All right everyone, cheers, cheers. And after a long day of work, the general is currently holding a party at the government's base. The base was constructed near the coastline south of Los Angeles at 1800 Palos Verde Drive. The entire base is a 15-acre estate and is fully secured from possible villain attacks or intruders. The entire base may look small than most bases, but it actually has a secret underground section where other operations are also being held and where some of the soldiers' dorms are at. But the party was currently being held at the upper part of the base. It was a large room that could fit a lot of people. The entire room is divided to a few floors. It has the main floor where a dance floor is present along with a stage, a giant TV screen and a bunch of seats. The other balconies have a bunch of seats and tables for other people as well. And currently this is the place where the general's holding a party for a job well done. The floor had soldiers dancing, seats are occupied with soldiers drinking and eating food, and a DJ was currently playing music on stage. And the DJ was none other than Turn It Up Marshmello. Marshmello thumbs up and amps up the music. The people in the dance floor start to jump up and down and dance to the beat. Others just vibe to it while drinking and talking to each other. Marshmello even starts to dance and vibe to the music. Meanwhile in the second balcony, Two people are watching everyone vibe to the music. It was Henry and Charles who changed their clothes after the mission. Well, it was mostly Henry. Charles just zipped his jacket and was wearing the same clothes. Henry on the other hand was wearing the same black shirt but with black pants along with a US military coat with a fur hood. Charles. Still can't believe Marshmallow is actually our DJ. Henry. You think that's weird? I actually met Freddy and Frosty at the wall. I'm still amazed by the fact that everyone except everyone in this base doesn't know that Marshmallow is also a soldier. That's why they introduced him to Fortnite, to hide his identity as an actual soldier. The two of them look behind them to see Ellie walking towards them. She switched out of her pink jacket and pants for a black tank top under a black jacket and blue pants. Henry smiles at her and walks toward her to kiss her cheek. Henry. Hey, Elle. How's sleep? Ellie. Chuckles best one I ever had in a while. Henry. No kidding, even the guard's room sucked. Charles. Well now glad it's finally over. Ellie. Yeah, now let's enjoy this party. Time skip. As the party went on, Henry, Ellie and Charles continued to have fun as they went down to main floor and even danced on it. The three of them continued to have fun along with the other soldiers. Most of the soldiers are either fainted from drinking too much, having some talks with one another or just still dancing on the dance floor. Ellie. Laughs man this is the best drink I've ever had in a while. Henry. Yeah, where did they even get this? I thought they stopped making Radicola ever since the factory was destroyed by a bunch of villains. Charles. Man, Captain G went in on this party. And currently, the three of them are back at the second balcony drinking while talking to each other. The three of them were having the time of their life, which was rare considering their jobs. Ellie. This has to be one of the best party I've ever been to. Henry. I mean, this rarely happens considering the way we work. The general even gave us a few days off to rest. Ellie. But at least we have the time to finally kick back and relax. Henry. Maybe I can finally take you to that Nusret steakhouse now. Ellie. You can afford it. I thought everything in there costs like a crap ton. Henry. I've been saving up one for a day off. So we can go there tomorrow if you want. I owe you Izuku for this. So you in? Ellie. Smiles I'd like that. Ellie kisses Henry on the cheek making the latter blush. Charles just chuckles at his best friend's reaction. Henry wasn't always the type of guy who's good with relationships, and easily gets embarrassed and blushes a lot easily. So seeing his reactions just make him chuckle at his best friend. But also made him kinda sad as it reminded him of something. Henry. Charles, buddy. Charles. Huh, Ellie. You good, dude. Charles. Sighs sadly yeah, I'm just kinda worried for Neo and the others. Henry. When was the last time you had in contact with them? Charles. About a week ago, I called her to check if she was fine. But I haven't got a call from her in a while now, I'm getting worried. Henry and Ellie look behind Charles to see a figure creeping towards him. The figure makes a silent, shush, and the two snicker. Ellie. Hey, Neo is strong on her own. And besides, she had a mission like us along with the others. Henry. I'm sure she'll be fine, Charles. She'll contact you soon. Charles. Sighs I hope so. I am planning on taking her on a date to a private restaurant to eat a specially made ice cream I had a private chef prepare. The figure stopped moving as the figure had a curious look along with Henry and Ellie. Ellie. How much does this ice cream cost anyway that you had to have a private chef make it? Henry. Yeah, I mean I know she loves sweets especially ice cream, but what makes this ice cream so special and how much does it cost? Charles. Well, the sundae costs approximately Rs. 73 lakh. Just as Henry and Ellie were drinking, they immediately look at opposite sides with wide eyes and spat out their drink from shock. Henry. $100,000. Ellie. For a simple ice cream sundae. Charles. Yeah, our anniversary's coming so I want to make it special for her. So I had help from Izuku to ask a private chef to make a special ice cream sundae for Neo. Ellie. That's really sweet of you. Henry. I am sure she'll love it. You really must love her to be buying her one heck of a sundae, huh? Charles. Of course, I love her as much as I love flying and crashing helicopters. All of a sudden, A pair of hands covered Charles's eyes, making the male stiffen and the other two chuckle. Ellie. Then why don't you say that to her now? Charles. Huh. What are you? Who's T? Do you really love me that much, Charlie? Charles gasped at the voice and looked behind him to see the individual who covered his eyes. It was a pale white female with long hair with a slight wave to it. The hair color is half pink and half brown, just like her eyes. Her outfit consists of a chocolate brown jacket with a pink interior, 2 brown belt shoulder straps and twin gray button seams. She's wearing a gray scarf, and a white 3 gray button-up vest-style top that is strapless and cropped. She also wears a pair of chocolate brown detached sleeves with puffy tops and pink trim alongside a pair of white funnel-cuffed gloves with gray button detailing. She also wears white belted pants and black and white spat-styled ankle boots with cutout detail just above the ankle. She was also wearing a black bowler hat with a red ribbon. The figure was none other than Charles and Neo. Neo smiles with tears glistening from her eyes as he stands up from his chair and hugs her, which she reciprocates back and nuzzles her head on his neck. The two just smile at the interaction of the two reunited lovers. Info. Name. Neapolitan Torchwick. Codename. Silent Mistress. Affiliation. U.S. Government, Cinders Group. Occupation. Secret Government Agent, Undercover Agent, Private Investigator, Special Covert Ops Agent, Bounty Hunter, Assassin. Quirk. Overactive imagination. It allows her to create physical illusions that can be seen by everyone. These illusions are highly convincing and shatter like glass when she dispels them or someone breaks them. In battle, she uses it as means to fool her opponent, creating openings for her to exploit. Drawback is that her illusions seem to be limited in their range. They typically only cover Neo herself, and either a short distance around her or something she is touching. And that overusing her quirk causes her to hallucinate about the things she fears depending on how intense she used her quirk. Special weapon. Hush. A parasol containing a long, thin blade hidden within the length of the parasol's tube, which can also project the blade's tip from the top end of it. The canopy of the parasol is made of an extremely dense, durable fabric that allows Neo to use it as a shield or a glider. Specialties. Undercover missions, close-ranged combat, infiltration. A few seconds later the two of them separate from the hug and the two look at each other, with Charles cupping her cheek and rubbing away the tears from her eyes as she smiles at him as he does the same. Charles. I missed you. Neo. I missed you too. Neo slowly leaned in and Charles met her halfway and kissed her on the lips as she wrapped her arms behind his neck and he held her waist. They held the kiss for a few moments before they both drifted apart, staring into each other's eye. Charles. So how about it? You wanna go on that date tomorrow? Neo. Smiles, nods. I'd love to. Charles smiles and the both of them instinctively started to lean in for another kiss, but chuckles. So when am I going to have grandkids? The both of them along with Henry and Ellie looked towards the voice to see another familiar figure smirking. It was a tall and lanky male with slanted, dark green eyes and bright, long, orange hair, with long bangs covering his right eye. Black eyeliner traced his visible left eye. He wore a red-lined white suit with long black pants and black shoes. His accessories included a small gray scarf, black gloves with buckled sleeves, and a black bowler hat with a small feather tucked into its red band. The figure was none other than Neo. Blushing * Roman. The figure was none other than Roman Torchwick, the elder brother of Neapolitan Torchwick, who was now currently blushing after what his brother said. Neo. Blushing? It's too early for that. Roman. Chuckles. What? I just want to know when. Can't a brother have some grandkids to spoil? Info. Name. Roman Torchwick. Codename. Torch. Affiliation. U.S. Government, Cinders Group. Occupation. Detective, Secret Government Agent, Hitman Sniper, Bounty Hunter, Veteran Pilot. Quirk. Quirkless. Special weapon. Melodic cudgel. A cane that contains a cannon and a grappling hook. Specialties. Long-ranged combat, close-ranged combat, pickpocketing, piloting, communication guru. Neo. Pouts. Roman. Roman chuckles as he walks towards her and pats her head. He then looks at Charles and fist bumps him. Charles. Hey Roman. Roman. Sup, Charles. Why don't you both have a seat? We got plenty of room left. The two of them nod as Neo sat next to Charles and Roman sat next to Henry. Neo. Thanks for reserving us a seat, guys. Charles. Wait, you guys knew the entire time. Henry. Yeah, we did. You never wondered why we had extra seats here. Charles. Why didn't you guys tell me? Roman. Sighs Neo, wanted to surprise you. Ellie. So she contacted us earlier and said not tell that she's arriving today. Neo. Chuckles nervously, sorry if I made you worry. Charles sighs and kisses her forehead and pats it. Charles. It's all right, just don't worry me next time. Neo smiles and nuzzles onto Charles's neck. Henry. Any of you guys want drinks or anything? Ellie. Yeah, we can get you guys some. There's no need, Emerald and Mercury are already ordering us some. The five of them look at the new voice that arrived to see a female standing next to them. It's a fair-skinned woman with ashen black hair that covers her left eye. She has bright amber eyes. She's wearing lipstick and violet eyeshadow, a dark red, off-the-shoulders versus neck mini dress with yellow designs. There is a blue feather-like accessory on her right hip at the top of an open portion of her dress. The dress ends in an upside-down triangular tail in the back, ending just above the knees. There is a quarter-circle-shaped keyhole on the dress, upper back at the same height as her chest. The sleeves end in a triangle shape, which are wrapped or tied around her middle finger, with the gold designs of the sleeve taking over at the wrists. The figure was none other than Ellie. Heya, Cinder. Cinder. Smiles, hey, guys. Been a while, hasn't it? Henry. Chuckles, it sure has. Cinder. Info. Name. Cinder Fall. Codename. Crimson Ash. Affiliation. U.S. Government. Cinder's team. Occupation. Secret Government Agent, Undercover Agent, Private Investigator, Special Covert Ops Agent, Bounty Hunter, Assassin. Quirk. Fall Maiden. It allows her to control, shape and manipulate some basic elements of seasons. Fire, mostly wind, earth, ice and storm. Overusing her quirk causes her to feel immense pain course through her body due to the strain that may cause her to faint or be knocked out of commission. Specialties. Undercover missions, close-ranged combat, long-ranged combat, infiltration. Ellie. Pats the seat next to her here, there's more room for us. Cinder nods and sat next to Ellie as she sighed and stretched. Cinder. We could finally take a break and have fun for a while. Roman. Chuckles, it sure has been a long mission. Charles. You guys want to talk about it, until Emerald and Mercury bring your drinks here. Ellie. And we'll tell you all about ours. Neo. Sure. Roman. I'm down. Henry. So how did it go? Cinder. Sighs, where do I begin? Time skip. A few minutes have passed and laughter could be heard from the table. Ellie. Laughing her ass off, are you fucking kidding me? Did he actually do that? Roman. Damn right, it was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. I even had it on tape. The person they're referring to is a pale young man with gray eyes and gray hair, partially slicked back while unkempt at the front. He's wearing a slate gray and black two-tone partial zip jacket that covers his upper body. He also wears a single notched belt with what appears to be a sash or bandana draped over it. Protecting his arms are a set of rear braces and vambraces. Don't you fucking dare show that shit to them. Roman. Why not? I could even sell this online. This might even be worth more than gold. Charles. Still can't believe that you're good at strip dancing. Mercury. Mercury. Shut up. Neo. You should have seen it. It was one of the most funniest things I've ever seen. Mercury. Not helping Neo. Info. Name. Mercury Black. Codename. Ironfoot. Affiliation. U.S. Government. Cinder's team. Occupation. Secret Government Agent, Undercover Agent, Private Investigator, Special Covert Ops Agent, Bounty Hunter. Quirk. Quirkless. Special Weapon. Talaria. A pair of durable prosthetics legs with firing mechanisms built into them. Mercury can use them for both offense and defense due to its durability. It can be disguised through special large boots. Specialties. Undercover missions, close-ranged combat, infiltration. Cinder. Even I could admit that was funny. Mercury. Not you too, Cinder. Come on, Merc. You have to admit that it was a little funny. Mercury. Scoffs and smirks, at least I didn't get lost like someone I know. Shut up, Mercury. I would seriously pay you to just shut up and not talk about it. The person talking is a young woman with medium brown skin and dark red eyes. Her hair is a light mint green with a straight fringe and bangs as well as 2 long locks on each side in the back. She's wearing a mint green crop beneath a cropped white quilted leather, double-breasted biker jacket contrasted with black notch lapels with matching cuffs as well as a belt loop at the bottom of the jacket's hem. She's also wearing matching white, skinny jeans and brown chaps that end at her thighs. She also wears a overlong belt, twice wrapped, to which her chap straps connect to. She keeps her weapon holsters attached the back of the belts. She completes her outfit with a pair of brown ankle boots with metal toe plating and a red gradient gem pendant around her neck and a beaded bracelet on her right wrist. Mercury. Chuckles no deal, M's. Emerald. Gains a tick mark Y, you little shit. Info. Name. Emerald Sustre. Codename. Hivemind. Affiliation. U.S. Government, Cinder's team. Occupation. Secret government agent, undercover agent, private investigator, special covert ops agent, bounty hunter. Quirk. Hallucinations. Gives her the ability to modify the sensory information in a person's head while their brain is processing it. In other words, instead of generating an illusion that everyone nearby can see, she causes her target to hallucinate. The drawback is that she can only control a single mind. Controlling more than one causes her to have headaches depending on how many she's affected. It also takes a lot of concentration. Special weapon. Thief's Respite. A pair of convertible revolver sickles. Emerald can then deploy blades to fight in melee combat, extend them using chains attached to her respective handles like kusarigamas to fight from mid-range, or use them for shooting very fast. Specialties. Pickpocketing, undercover missions, close-ranged combat, long-ranged combat, infiltration. Mercury. Well, I do have to admit, you did look cute in that maid outfit disguise. Emerald. Blushes and looks away. Shut up. Mercury. Whatever, chuckles and places his hands behind his head. You want me? Emerald. I said shut up. Ellie. Whispers to Cinder. I'm still surprised that the two of them haven't even started dating yet. Cinder. Whispers back. I know, I mean, it's getting too obvious at this point that she likes him. Emerald. I'm just glad that the mission's finally over. These jobs are actually harder than I thought. Cinder. But at least, it's better than what we had before. Roman. And besides, these jobs pay way too well for our skill sets. Henry. Yeah, like nearly $500,000 for a single mission. Ellie. No joke though, these villains are actually getting tougher. They're like moving from wolf class to tiger. Cinder. Even I have to admit that the boss and the group we dealt with was hard. The government ranks targets and villains by using a disaster level to determine their disastrous potential. The levels are as follows in order of increasing threat level: cat, wolf, bear, tiger, demon, dragon, and god. Roman. I swear to God, crime rate has been booming up lately. Those villains are getting stronger in more ways than one. Charles. Yeah, but at least it's all over, for now. Neo. Yeah, and we get to have a time off starting tomorrow. Mercury. But seriously, Captain G can throw one heck of a party. The last time I heard of Radicola ever since I was 8. Cinder. I mean, how can he not? America's #1 villain is dead. Roman. Yeah, I mean literally everyone in the state is having a party right now. The news about it spread like wildfire both international and worldwide. Neo. You guys must have had it rough. Henry. Groans sure was. Working for that guy was such a pain in the ass. Not to mention how many villains we had to fight. Ellie. Well, we did succeed in the end. Charles. But it was Izuku who made sure the operation was successful and killed Rugal along with 75% of his army. Mercury. Speaking of Izuku, where is he? Shouldn't he be here as the MVP of the whole operation? Ellie. Size, last I heard from him when we got here, he's down at the testing chamber training again. Roman. So you're saying that he's been training there non-stop for the past hours? Size is the word, vacation, not in the guy's vocabulary. Neo. Give him a break, Roman. You know the reason why he's like that. Charles. And you really can't blame the guy for it. Henry. His fight with Rugal must have triggered something again in him. Cinder. He must have realized how strong villains getting lately and decided to train to get stronger again. Emerald. Strong. The guy is literally a one-man army. Cinder. Henry. He must have also remembered about her. We saw him clutching his locket again at the chopper. Roman. The poor kid. He still hasn't moved on from the event, huh? Ellie. I guess he hasn't. How couldn't he? He blames himself every day for it. Emerald. What's even worse is that there's even a controversy on social media about him, and it just got more heated today. Emerald shows her phone to the others and shows an article titled, "Reaper's Apprentice Kills America's #1 Villain." What is he really? A hero or a monster? And what side is he on? Heroes or villains? Cinder. Sighs exasperatedly. Can't the media get any more annoying than this? Don't they know that he's already internally suffering? Roman. You're talking to the same society who treated us like dirt at first, of course they're like that. Charles. You can't really help but really feel sorry for the guy. He's actually one of the most friendliest and kindest guy I've ever met, and yet he's suffering from trauma from the inside and being called a monster at the same time when they don't know what's actually happening to him. Mercury. You know what, I just realized something. Emerald. What is it now, Mercury? I'm serious. Look at all of us in the table right now. We're like in our early to mid-20s, some of us were former outlaws and criminals, and all of us are currently having the time of our life. While the same kid who saved us from our once horrible life and is younger than us, is suffering and wasting his life down there. And yet as his friends, we can't even do anything to help him. The 8 of them just sat there in silence feeling guilt crawl up their spines. Izuku saved them except Charles from their forced criminal and villainous lives and gave them a chance at redemption and a better life. They feel eternally grateful for him and yet, they feel guilty that they can't even repay him by helping him from the pain he's suffering. He was younger than all of them and yet he's suffering and carrying overwhelming stress and burden more than they had. Neo. Can't we actually do something to help him? Roman. Sighs. I wish we could, Neo. But not even his parents could help him. What do you think we can do if they couldn't do something about it? Cinder. It's actually sad that our savior is suffering and being called a monster even though he's actually more of a hero at first than us. Henry. We really need to find a way to help the guy move on. Ellie. But we can't do anything about it. The guy became too cold and distant. And he literally blames himself every day. Emerald. He literally went on a 180, from a sweet guy to a bad boy. Roman. Basically sums up how society and pain can change someone. Cinder. Sighs. I wish we could help him, but it's completely out of our reach. All we can do now is support him and hope for the best that there'll be people that can help him. The others nod solemnly and sat there in silence, but the silence was cut by Mercury. Mercury. By the way, where's Captain G? Isn't he the one who hosted this party? Charles. Captain G said that he has business and a meeting with someone from another general. Cinder. I wonder what they could be talking about. Roman. Sighs. We can leave that to him, let's just have fun while we still can. The others nod and continue talking to each other and having fun while also thinking about Izuku at the same time. Meanwhile in another part, deeper in the base at the secret underground section of the base is its so-called testing chamber. It's an enormous white room, about a Lady Liberty tall and the of 50 Lady Liberties wide. The room is constructed with special reinforced material that can withstand even the full power of All Might and the rest of the pro-heroes. But inside the room, punch, 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 asterisk, ha, loud punching and panting could be heard in the room as someone was occupying it. The room has been clearly used for a while now, a lot of pieces of a wall was on the floor, weights, guns, swords, targets, bullets and more. The person in the room was none other than Izuku. Aura, punch, aura, punch, aura, punch, aura, punch, aura, punch, aura, punch, asterisk. It was none other than Izuku who was punching octuple compressed stone reinforced steel walls which are comparable to Tartarus and other walls from maximum security prisons. He changed out of his outfit in favor of black martial arts pants and nothing on his chest. It reveals some scars and a white bandage he's currently wearing on both his arms. Each punch on the wall was denting it and was slowly getting bigger with each of his punches causing more dents and holes to appear. Punch, asterisk. With each punch he does, a fragment of a memory resurfaces on his head. Punch. Asterisk. It shows a 4-year-old him with green hair being watched by his father along with his mentor as he throws a set of glowing knives precisely at the set of target. His mentor could be heard saying, "Your son has potential to be an assassin." Punch. Punch. Asterisk. It then shows a 5-year-old him with 2 other girls, one having short hair and younger than him and the other one long hair and is the same age as him. Izuku-kun, these are my other 2 students who I took in and who you would be working with. I do hope you 3 would get along very well. Young Izuku looks at the 2 with a smile and extends his hand. Izuku. Hi, my name is Izuku Midoriya. What's yours? The one with long hair smiles slightly with a slight blush on her face as she extends her hand and shakes his. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. My name is A. Punch. Punch. Asterisk. His punches were starting to get more faster and stronger as more cracks appear on the wall and he started panting more. Punch. Punch. Asterisk. The long-haired girl and Izuku are currently 6 years old and training with their wooden swords as their mentor watches them along with the short-haired girl. Alright, that's it you 2. With each swing analyze your opponent and find a way through their attack pattern. Sometimes even their own fighting style can be used against them. As Izuku dodges the girl's attacks, he notices that she was about to rush him for a thrust attack. But he remembers his mentor's words and charges directly at her and clashes with her to parry her sword attack. He then raises his blade to slash her down. Punch. 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 Asterisk. An 8-year-old Izuku was currently training at his backyard by doing push-ups as his 2 younger siblings were right on his back. Sora. Go Ne-chan. Hotaru. Ne-chan is so strong. Izuku smiles as he keeps doing push-ups with a single thought in his mind. Izuku. Thought, I'll get strong, to protect you 2 and everyone I love. I'll be a hero in my own way. Punch. 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 Asterisk. He punches the wall more erratically and with more force. Izuku. Thought, Hotaru. Sora. Punch. 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 Asterisk. Another flashback shows him laying on the grass with Katsuki, Shoto and Toya all bruised up with smiles on their faces. Katsuki. Laughs, you're getting way too strong, Izuku. But that doesn't mean that we'll be giving up that easily. Shoto. We'll keep getting stronger. Toya. And one day, we'll have a battle. Izuku. Then I'll be waiting for that day, because we're. Everyone raises their fists, rivals. Punch. 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 Asterisk. A 8-year-old Izuku now with white hair and the long-haired girl could be seen training in one-on-one combat as their mentor watches from afar. Alright, great work you 2. You both are definitely getting stronger for your age. Let's see who can pin down the other first though. The both of them nod and got into a stance. Izuku charges in for a kick, but the girl caught it and punched Izuku in the chest before kicking him in the face, sending him flying back and laying on the ground. The girl looked worried and ran towards him. I'm sorry, I went too far. But to her surprise, Izuku suddenly kicked upwards, sending her back before lunging at her and pinning her down. Shocked what? Izuku smiles. Remember what sensei said. Our enemies won't be fair, so we have to be prepared for anything. The girl smiled as Izuku weakened his hold, for a sudden burst of strength as the girl flipped them over as Izuku was now pinned down and staring to the girl's eyes. Izuku. Wah. Smiles, be prepared for anything, remember. Izuku. Chuckles, touche. Chuckles, alright, that's enough you 2. Rest up for a while. And also, no lovey-dovey things on the battlefield. Your parents will kill me. The 2 of them looked confused until they realized the position they were both in and their face exploded with a red color. As they both got off and looked away while covering their faces and stammering out an apology as their mentor just chuckled. Chuckles, ah, young love. Punch. 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 Asterisk. A 10-year-old Izuku and the long-haired girl could be seen wielding their weapons as they were in front of their very first targets. The both of them were having a hard time and had looks of fear on their face until they remembered the words of their mentor. I know it will be tough for you both to kill because both of you are too kind. But some villains won't give you a chance and you'll be dead already before you know it. If you both want to live, harden both of your hearts in the battlefield. Everyone has the ability to turn off their emotions like if you had a switch. I suggest you both use a phrase. Izuku, phrase. Yes, like, rest. Say it aloud in your heart whenever you're both in a mission. As if it was some sort of incantation. Use that if you're both having a hard time on killing a target. Then both of them got into a serious look with Izuku's eyes glowing with bloodlust while holding daggers on his hand as the girl's eyes radiate bloodlust while raising her sword over her head as they both stand side by side. Izuku. I sentence you. I'll send you. The both of them charged in the blink of an eye and looked straight at their target's eyes. Izuku, to death, to your grave. Punch, 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 asterisk. His punching grew faster and stronger as more holds started to appear on the wall and his breath grew even more ragged and erratic. Punch, 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 asterisk. An 11-year-old Izuku along with his mentor's 2 students were riding on a boat on the way to their next mission. The long-haired girl had her head rested on Izuku's shoulder as the short-haired one was resting on the long-haired one's lap as his general was looking around. Izuku. So what's the next mission, General? General. Right, so the 3 of you will be assigned to work as assassins for an imperial capital located at an island located in the central parts of the North Atlantic Ocean. Why is that, General? General. Apparently a former colleague of mine there is requesting government forces to help them with an issue of pesky rebels that are causing havoc on their nation. The 3 of you will be assigned to a group and will undergo special training and missions. Are you 3 up for the job? Everyone. Hi. Punch, 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 asterisk. It then shows a 12-year-old Izuku and the long-haired girl sitting on their knees with tears both in their eyes as they watch a house burn before them. It clearly shows 2 children that were both burned to ashes as the both were screaming their heart out. Punch, punch, asterisk. His punches started to get more slower but more powerful as more cracks appear on the wall. Punch, asterisk. It then shows the both of them in front of a middle-aged man with blonde hair and green eyes as the long-haired girl was carrying her sister. I've got you 2 lovebirds now. I'd figure you both bolted quickly back, your traitorous general. Good job making this far. If you're both not ready to fight your friends or your sister, then, I suggest you both don't leave. You're both being too naive. Izuku's eyes were covered with shadows as the long-haired girl placed her sister on the ground. Izuku took out a green sword from his back as the long-haired girl unsheathed hers as the both of them stood side by side. Ooh, let me guess, you both want a 2v1 deathmatch with your old man. My children, I'll forgive you both if you. Izuku. Let me make something clear to you. You're not my father, never once and never will be. And we're sick and tired of doing your bullshit dirty work you've been forcing us to do. If we keep talking, the others will catch up to us. So before that happens, Izuku, we'll sentence you to death, we'll send you to your grave. Punch, punch, asterisk. It then shows the both of them slowly falling into a river unconscious. Izuku had blood dripping from his left eye and had a bullet hole through his chest. The long-haired girl on the other hand, had blood dripping out of her mouth along with a couple of wounds around her body. Punch, punch, asterisk. It then showed Izuku sitting in the middle of a field with the long-haired girl. He has a bandage over his left eye and on his wounds, the girl also had bandages around her. I killed her. Izuku. Shish, let it all out. Cry while you still can. He was hugging her and caressing her back as she cries out in agony as he also had tears trickling down his eyes. Izuku. I know it hurts. I also feel guilty about it. But we chose this path because our hearts told us, right? I know. He also starts to cry more as the both of them calm each other down in each other's embrace. The both of them separate from the embrace as Izuku cups her cheek and looks at her. Izuku. I know it'll be tough and hard for the both of us. The both of us lost so much comrades and friends and I know you're afraid to lose more, but I am always going to be here with you, alright? Smiles and wipes her tears away. I promise you, I'll survive, we'll rescue your sister and end this war. Then we can pursue the world the both of us always wanted, right? Smiles, a world where there's peace and harmony, and where all of us could live in peace. Then the both of us will retire from our work and live a happy life with a family. Do you promise all that, Zuku? Izuku. Smiles, I promise, aim. The 2 leaned in into a loving kiss as they held each other tightly. Punch, 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 Asterisk. His punches got more stronger and faster as his arms suddenly got coated in black and his breathing got more ragged as he's gritting his teeth. Punch, 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 punch. Asterisk. The background showed a bruised and bleeding Izuku standing on a bloody battlefield. Bodies of dead enemy soldiers were all laying on the ground. Tears were evidently streaming down his face. With each punch, flashes of memories with some of his comrades were shown. It shows. Punch. Asterisk. A busty female. Punch. Asterisk. A tall muscular male. Punch. Asterisk. A female with an eye patch. Punch. Asterisk. A male with goggles. Punch. Asterisk. A female with glasses. Punch. Asterisk. A twin-tailed female. Punch. Asterisk. A brown-haired male. Punch. Asterisk. A short black-haired female. Punch. Asterisk. A dark blue-haired male. Punch. Asterisk. A girl with headphones. Punch. Asterisk. And a long black-haired female. Punch. 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 As his punching got even more faster, his breathing got more ragged and his teeth gritted more, he could hear a faint female voice in his head. "I'm sorry, Zuku." Punch. 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 "It's okay." Punch. Asterisk. Remember. Punch. 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 No matter wherever you are in this world. Punch. Punch. Asterisk. Always. Punch. Punch. Asterisk. Love you, Izuku. RAAAAAGGGGHHHHHHH. Punch. Asterisk. Crack. Asterisk. With a scream, one final powerful punch, the wall completely shattered as it all falls to the ground. He stood up properly, panting heavily with sweat drenching his entire body. He glanced at his arms while he was absorbing light to replenish himself. He could notice the black color in his arms disappear. "Izuku." Panting it appeared. "But it only does rarely. I need to practice consciously awakening it to continue using it." He then clenches his arms and grits his teeth, remembering those memories he just had. He wipes the sweat off his forehead and walks slowly to a couple of weights on the floor. "Izuku. TCH. I'm still too weak. I'm not good enough. If I'm gonna get stronger." He then picks up a large weight weighing about 1 ton and places it between his teeth. He picks up another one weighing about 2 tons and holds it like a sword as he got into a stance. "Izuku. I need to keep training. I need to keep getting stronger." He then starts to swing the heavy weight down like a sword before bring it back up over his head and swinging it back down again. Unknown to him, someone entered the room a few minutes ago and was watching him. Having trouble sleeping, Sunny. Izuku glances to his side to see General Galaforce standing a few feet away from him. "Izuku. I already had a 1-hour break, General. I think I've had my fill." He grunts and lifts the weight over his head and continued training. Galaforce. "Then you should be out, celebrating with the rest, seeing the world. You've been training for hours anyway. And besides, you were the MVP in that operations." He sighs and drops the weights to the ground and walks to his bag that was on a chair while untying the white bandage off of his hands. "Izuku. It wasn't all my doing, General. It was a group effort. All of us contributed to this mission. I just did what I did for the mission to succeed." He got to his bag and placed the bandages inside it and grabbed a towel to wipe the sweat off of his body as the general walks towards him. "Galaforce. I am thankful that you're helping our scientists test our new defense measures for villains, but I think you should be taking a break now." Izuku. Sighs. I can't rest because villains don't rest." He puts his towel back inside his bag and grabs a shirt and puts it on. Izuku. Every moment that passes, villains continue to get stronger, faster, hungrier and grow more in numbers. If I rest, the more the margin between our strength becomes shorter to the point that they can overpower me. I can't let that happen. Galaforce. Is this anything related to the news or social media posts? Izuku. I don't care what the world thinks of me. They could say anything about me and I don't give a fuck about it. They can call me a monster all they want, but that won't stop me from completing my mission. Izuku finishes up putting his shirt and sat by the chair. He gets his phone and sees a notification that shows that he received 250 million from Rugal, Mature and Vice's bounty. Izuku. By the way, I'm giving 50% of the bounty award for the repairs of the island and some donations, 20% to Henry and the others, 20% for my parents and the remaining 10% for me. Galaforce. Are you sure about this? Izuku. Of course, I'm sure. They need it more than I do. And besides, I do this every time. I'm still surprised that no one notices it yet. Galaforce nods as Izuku grabs a bottle of water from his bag and drinks up. Izuku. By the way, General. Why are you here? I thought you had some sort of meeting. Galaforce. Ah, right. I actually had a talk with your general and he wants to talk to you about a new mission. Izuku. Size asterisk, is he trying to get me back in the world? Galaforce. I guess so. Izuku. Sighs and stands up carrying his bag. Well, I'll hop to it then. Time skip. Izuku was now in a conference room located at another part of the base. He was sat in a chair drinking a can of Monster Energy, not sponsored, and lifting a simple weight, waiting for the call. A few seconds later the screen flashes on and reveals a black-haired male with a hat looking at him. The male had an eye patch on his right eye and was wearing a blue special soldier outfit. Izuku stood up and saluted the figure. Izuku. General, Hydern. Hydern. It's good to see you fine and well, Izuku. Izuku. Same here, General. Your family has been avenged. Hydern. Smiles. Thank you, Izuku. For the longest time I've trained and sought to kill Rugal by my own hands for killing Sandra and Clara. But I realized that there is no way I could ever match his power. So, I thank you for avenging my family. Them and I could finally rest knowing that justice has been served. Izuku. It was a pleasure, General. I was just doing my mission. Anyway, General Galaforce told me you have a new mission for me. Hydern. Ah, yes. A new mission for you I have. Izuku. Chuckles internally. Did he just talk like Yoda for a second? So is it another villain I need to take down? A stealth mission? A sniper mission? Hydern. Hold your horses, Izuku. This may be newer than your usual assassin missions. Izuku. Raises an eyebrow. How new? Hydern. Sighs. Let me just get into the details about it. So earlier, while you were on your mission, your father and I had a little talk. Izuku. Dad. Been years since I last talked with him. I wonder how he, Mom and my siblings are doing. Hydern. Well, they're doing just fine from what I heard from your father. The money you secretly give them has made their life a bit easier. Your siblings are just about to enter third year junior high. Izuku. Smiles. Well, that's a relief. I am happy that they're fine and well. So what did he want to talk about? Hydern. Him along with All Might and Endeavor had a talk with his other friends. Izuku. Friends, huh. Summons a dagger and plays with it. I thought Dad's only friends were Uncle Toshi and Uncle Enji. Hydern. It was some of their old friends when they went to UA. And they had a little talk regarding about you and your skills. Izuku. Raises an eyebrow. So they know I am the Reaper's apprentice. Hydern. It's fine, your father and uncles trust them with the secret. They promise they won't tell anyone else except who they trust the most. Izuku. Sighs in relief. You don't say, huh. Drinks his can of soda. So why did they talk about me? That it regards my skills. Hydern. It's also regarding their 6 daughters. They want you too. Izuku. Hold it, General. If this is some kind of arranged marriage shit that my father wants me to undergo or some lame excuse to continue the family bloodline, then he could count me the fuck out. I'm an assassin, not a breeder. Hydern. Ah, you're mistaken. They want you for something else. I'm sure you've noticed that the crime rate has drastically increased for the past year, right? Izuku. Sighs. Yes. They're getting more stronger and cause havoc more frequently than they used to. It's pressuring the US's government and heroes more, that's why they send me and the others to deal with them. And pretty sure it's affecting Japan and the other countries, I presume. Hydern. Indeed, your uncles are getting pressured from the amount of criminal activity, which is even becoming difficult for All Might especially. And the safety of most locations are getting riskier for other children, especially the ones with well-known names. And they're afraid for the welfare of their daughters who are currently entering their third year junior high. Izuku. Crosses his arms and raises an eyebrow. And what do they want me to do about it? Hydern. Sighs. I'll just get to the point. They want you to be the bodyguard for their daughters. Just as Izuku was about to take another sip of his soda, he suddenly dropped it to the ground with his eyes widening. Izuku. Izuku. Say what? Being a bodyguard. Are you serious, General? Harem. This isn't some prank, Izuku. Your next mission is to be a bodyguard. Izuku. But I thought we agreed that I would go on missions that would limit my contact with others. Harem. It wasn't my suggestion, but it was your uncles who personally recommended you as their bodyguard. Izuku. Sighs, why'd you do this to me, uncles? What makes these girls' names so precious that they have to hire me to protect them? Harem. Right, let me just give you the names of the 6 families the daughters come from. A holographic projection appears in front of him and shows 6 names, which made Izuku raise an eyebrow. Izuku. I see. Harem. You recognize these names. Izuku. How could I not, General? Knowing these families is basic knowledge if you scroll through social media and read newspapers every day. And also especially if you read the archives, knowing these family names is a bit too easy and common sense. He pressed the first name and expanded different information containing the family. Izuku. The Yaoyorozu family is known because of their company called Yaoyorozu Holdings, which is founded Jin Yaoyorozu and led by his son Sei Yaoyorozu. He expands a picture showing the building of Yaoyorozu Holdings and showing Sei Yaoyorozu showing some stuff to others. Izuku. Yaoyorozu Holdings is a multinational industrial company and the largest tech conglomerate in the world. The entire company is responsible for supplying innovative weapons for militaries and support items for pro-heroes. The company is also responsible for the increase in technological enhancements around the world through the combination of minds that have a goal to improve quality of life for mankind and the world in the future. He taps a photo next to it and it shows Akane standing in front of a bunch of students. Izuku. Akane Yaoyorozu, on the other hand, is the headmaster or principal of a well-known prestigious junior high school in Japan, called Heaven Door Junior High. It's considered the second best junior high school in all of Japan, since all graduates from that school are said to have graduated with flying colors. He then taps another family and enhances it. Izuku. The Kageyama family is a family that is a part of Japan's Sangsing, or Japan's 3 stars, which are responsible for maintaining the welfare of the citizens of Japan. He taps on a folder and shows 3 pictures containing 2 females and 1 male. Izuku. The leader is named Ningguang Washimoto, the one in charge of managing Japan's riches and considered as the richest businesswoman in Japan. She's the reason why most of Japan prospers. She gives money to help with the process and to assess the needs of the people. The other 2 members are part of the Kageyama family. He expands a picture showing a water supply facility and power plant with Sakai in the background. Izuku. Sakai Kageyama is a member and in charge of managing Japan's water and electric supply. With the help of Sei Yaoyorozu, he was able to create an electric power plant which provides pure and efficient energy for the residents of Japan. And the water works he also made and manages is in charge of providing fresh and clean water to Japan. He then enhances another photo, showing Shia in front of a house. Izuku. Shia Kageyama is also a member of the Sangsing and is in charge of providing and managing homes and apartments of Japanese residents. From what I also heard of, her daughter helps her manage and check the livelihood of the residents and other people around Japan. These 3 are the reason on why Japan remains prosperous. He then taps another family and enhances the photo. It shows Frederica in an emergency room and Ryota standing in front of a cathedral. Izuku. The Peg family is a well-known family in Japan because of Ryota Peg, are also known as the CEO of Divine Medical Center, and his wife Frederica Peg, a very well-known doctor around Japan. Divine Medical Center is a very well-known hospital in Japan since it's 3-in-1, physical, mental and spiritual hospital, because the hospital is also a church. The hospital itself is considered the best place for state-of-the-art medical care for physically and mentally ill patients. And a place where to help those who need religion. He then taps another photo and expands it. Izuku. The Kamisato family is actually one of the oldest clans to exist in Japan. The clan has been here since past wars in Japan's and even before quirks existed, and is considered one of the most prominent families in Japan. They can be also considered like one of the royal families in Japan. He expands another photo and it shows former generations of the Kamisato clan wielding swords, performing martial arts, and manipulating elements. He also expands another picture and shows Ayaka's father in his hero costume. Izuku. The clan is extremely skilled in martial arts and are seemingly trained in elemental magic as well as swordsmanship. It can be noticed from former number 3 hero Shearblade's techniques and skills when he was still a hero and was one of Japan's big 3 heroes alongside my 2 uncles. He then taps and expands another photo showing a Japanese-styled house. Izuku. The Kamisato clan is in charge of the Yashura Commission, which is in charge of managing shrines, festivals, and cultural events and lives of Japanese citizens. From what I've heard of, its duties and responsibilities are so pervasive that most people can't make heads or tails out of it. Most notably, I've heard that their youngest daughter is famous among Japan, even being called the Shirasagi Hamegimi. So I'm presuming she's one of the girls I have to take care of. Hidern. Precisely. He then taps and expands another picture showing a dog inside a tea house. Izuku. The clan also watches over the Komore Tea House, one of the most popular and oldest tea houses to exist in Japan. It's famous because of their delicious tea and a dog named Terumaru, who can understand English and is a ninja. Size what a world. He then taps another family and expands it. Izuku. The Sangonomiya family is another one of the oldest clans to exist in Japan. The clan itself is composed of brave warriors that fought in past wars. He then taps a picture of an island and expands it. Izuku. The clan owns and rules an island in the east of Japan called Watatsumi Island. The island's known for its dense foliage in breathtaking colors which are distinct from plants found elsewhere in the world. The island is rich in resources and materials and is a perfect vacation spot if you love ancient Japanese culture with a twist. The island is said to be ruled by the divine priestess, but her father is currently handling most of her workload since she's still young. So I'm assuming she's one of the supposed daughters I have to be guarding. Hidern. Correct. Izuku. Sighs internally. Just how many royal names do I have to be taking care of? He then taps the last one and groans internally. Izuku. Groans internally. Make that 3. Why in the fucking world is this happening to me? Calm down, Izuku. It's not like I am going to have a harem or something, right? He then expands the last file containing the last family. Izuku. The Vermilion family is one of the known royal families in France and rules the kingdom of Vermilion. He expands another photo containing a picture of what seems to be a kingdom. Izuku. The kingdom is known for its industries in animal husbandry, tourism, export of cut flowers and natural gas and more. It then showed a photo of the very first Vermilion leading a war. Izuku. The people living in the kingdom is loyal to the royal family because of a war that happened back then that was led by the first Vermilion for the freedom of his people. Even until now the love between the people and the family makes the whole kingdom a huge family. Chuckles that would certainly make Vin Diesel proud. He then presses and expands another photo showing a Raiji and Aila fighting villains in France and another photo showing them along with their daughters. Izuku. Currently, Raiji Vermilion, aka France's #1 hero, Reinhard and his wife, Aila Vermilion, aka France's retired #2 hero, Saul are the ones ruling the kingdom. They have 2 daughters, Stella Vermilion being the eldest and Tsukasa Vermilion the youngest. And so I'm assuming that the eldest is the one I have to supposedly take care of. Hidern. Yes. Izuku sighs and throws his arms away, sending the holographic photos around him as he sat back down. Izuku. Tell me again, General. Why do I have to protect these girls? Hidern. As I said earlier and as you already know, villains' activity has spiked up recently and has been causing havoc to innocent lives. These families personally required a bodyguard to protect their daughters from your uncles. And in the end, they recommended you to be their bodyguard. Izuku. Sighs, but still, why would they want me when they already know that I am literally the world's #1 assassin? The so-called merciless cold-blooded serial killer that won't hesitate to kill their target. Hidern. They simply had faith in your uncles and your father when they recommended you. They also don't mostly care whether or not you're the #1 assassin. They know you have the skill to protect their daughters and know that you're not as cold-blooded as others say you are. Izuku. Sighs and places a hands over his eyes, but how come you're in with this, General? I thought we agreed I won't be near others not part of the military. Hidern. Sighs Izuku. You know I lost Sandra and Clara years ago because of Rugal. I know how it feels like to lose someone close to you, and I am sure you too know that especially. Izuku slowly uncovers the hands from his eyes as he lowers his head. Hidern. Ever since that day, all I could think about was hunting down and kill Rugal myself. I clearly devoted my whole life to it, and you could see that, right? But now I feel fully relieved with my adoptive daughter, Leona, and that you finally avenged my family. Izuku then slowly starts looking up towards the general as he continues talking. Hidern. Some of the fathers and girls lost their mothers or wife. I am sure they're doing this as a precaution for their protection and safety. They're always too busy and can't always be there to protect their daughters from these threats that can cost their lives. He then presses another button that shows 2 clips of Ayaka and Stella along with what is presumed to be their bodyguards. Hidern. They tried asking and hiring for the best bodyguards they could find in the past, but as you can see, this is the result. The video plays and shows Ayaka being forced on by the guy as she screams for help and her father arrives and apprehends the guy. The same could be said for Stella's as the guy was apprehended by Raiji and Aila before she was raped. Hidern. So that's why they personally asked their old friends, Endeavor and All Might, for bodyguards, and they recommended you. Because they know that you're not like that and would be willing to protect someone till the end. They know that despite you being the world's #1 assassin, that you have the specific set of skills they need for the protection of their daughters. Even I know that, and I'm sure she does too. Izuku was still looking at the general, literally lost in thought as he glances to his sides, still unsure of his decision. Hidern. Size, you can say no to the offer. But if you do agree, you'll be sent back here and would discuss the conditions with the parents. I'll give you more time to decide since I know this a lot to take in and that you're extremely tired. I'll give you 24 hours to decide. Get some rest and I'll be awaiting for your answer. Dismiss. Scene change. The scene shifts to Izuku still in the same position, sitting on the side of his bed. He's changed his clothes to jogging pants and a plain white shirt. His room was just a simple army dorm room. With a bed, a large shelf containing books, a window with the view of the ocean, he has drawers and closets where he keeps his clothes and outfits, and he has a desk with a MacBook Air, a couple of books, pictures and a desk lamp on it. There's also a punching bag on the side of the room along with a couple of weights laying around and a mini fridge with drinks next to his bed and a lamp table. A door was also present for his personal restroom and bathroom. He was still lost in thought and in the same position he was earlier. He was thinking of what the general talked with him about. He didn't even bother joining the party at this point. This was a lot to take in for him. He glances to his side and see a couple of picture frames. Izuku. Thought, bodyguard, huh. And here I thought I wouldn't have to be near any of them for a long time. He sighs before he notices a sword sheath next to his bed and picks it up. He unsheathes the blade a bit to see a bit of its edge glowing green. He sighs again before sheathing it back and placing an arm on his head. Izuku. What do I do? He then remembers the general's talk with him. Hidern. Sighs Izuku. You know I lost Sandra and Clara years ago because of Rugal. I know how it feels like to lose someone close to you, and I am sure you two know that especially. He then shuffles and grabs a picture frame on his desk as he stares at it with a sad smile on his face. Izuku. Hidern. Some of the fathers and girls lost their mothers or wife. I am sure they're doing this as a precaution for their protection and safety. They're always too busy and can't always be there to protect their daughters from these threats that can cost their lives. He then grabs another picture frame and it shows him with his mom, dad and siblings. Izuku. Mom, Dad, Hotaru, Sora, Hidern. So that's why they personally asked their old friends, Endeavor and All Might, for bodyguards, and they recommended you. Because they know that you're not like that and would be willing to protect someone till the end. They know that despite you being the world's #1 assassin, that you have the specific set of skills they need for the protection of their daughters. Even I know that, and I'm sure she does too. He then looks at his locket and opens it again to see the same picture he checked earlier. Izuku. Aim. He sighs and closes his eyes as he thinks carefully. All of a sudden, a memory of a simple phrase hits him. Follow your heart. That's what we always do, right? Izuku. Opens his eyes. Yeah. Thanks, Aim. I know what my heart wants now. He then goes to the desk and grabs his phone and he contacts the general. Izuku. Hey, General. I got my answer for you. He closes his eyes, then clutches the locket on his right hand, and he opens his eyes with clear determination in them. Izuku. I accept the job. To be continued. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Now we will see you in the next video.